zombie outbreak. My cat and I hid inside my custom fortress RV. The RV is filled with supplies I stored in advance. In this life, I will survive until the end. I opened my eyes and saw the familiar interior of the fortress RV. I quickly checked the time on my phone. May 20th, 3025, 9 a.m. I was reborn 3 hours before the zombie outbreak. In my past life, on the day the zombies appeared, my half-sister Celine and my fiancé Julian teamed up. They drugged me with milk and sleeping pills. Then they stole the fortress RV I worked so hard to build. They left me alone to die. I struggled for 3 years in the apocalypse. In the end, I could not escape the zombie attack. Meanwhile, they lived comfortably in my RV. They had no worries. Right now, the RV is parked in the villa gardens. I got out of the RV and ran into the house. The family looked happy together in the living room. The atmosphere froze when they saw me enter. All 4 of them stared at me with complex expressions. Sister, Julian, and I just got our marriage certificate. Celine looked at me with a smug smile. I gritted my teeth in silence. He was the man I loved for my entire youth. I had no idea they were seeing each other. Now they have the nerve to offer me wedding candy. I did not argue with them like I did in my past life. My priority is to drive the RV away and buy more supplies. I only came back here to take Snowy. I held Snowy in my arms and walked out. Leave? Just leave. Seeing my indifference, Arthur was fuming with rage. Don't worry. I will never come back. Good luck to you all. Get lost. Arthur pointed at my back and cursed as I left. Celine stood by with a smug look on her face. She finally kicked the annoying Valeria out. From now on, everything in the family belongs to her. The money is hers, and the man is hers too. I drove to the nearest Grand Central Mall. Only 2 hours and 32 minutes left until the zombie outbreak. Time is tight. I ran through the supermarket with a cart. Many employees stared at me in confusion. I went to the fresh food section first. 10 pounds of beef brisket, 10 pounds of fish and shrimp. But the Fortress RV's fridge can only hold 50 pounds of meat. Next, I went to the grain section. Finally, I reached the seasoning section. I pushed the cart to the checkout counter. Then I grabbed another empty cart and rushed back in. This time, I bought various fruits and vegetables. I even asked the staff to get bulk items from the warehouse. Back at the checkout area, a manager approached me politely. "Miss, where should we deliver all these?" I pointed outside and said. Soon, several staff members were busy. They kept moving the items into the Fortress RV. Once everything was loaded, I checked the time on my phone. Only 1 hour left until the zombie outbreak. I hurried into City Pharmacy. I cleared out every shelf, regardless of what the medicine was. The clerk watched me, looking hesitant to speak. Finally, she couldn't help but say, "You are not allowed to buy this much medicine at once." I turned to her and said, "I will pay you 10 times the price." Stunned, the clerk nodded her head uncontrollably. "Deal. I'll sell them all." I placed several full baskets of medicine on the counter. Then I scanned my phone and paid 500,000. I told her to hurry up and bag everything. The clerk looked at the piles of medicine in a daze. After leaving the pharmacy, I went to the clothing store next door to buy some clothes. Finally, I went to the pet shop and bought 50 pounds of cat food for Snowy. I also bought some deworming medicine. When I returned to the vehicle, it was already 11:58 p.m. I locked the doors. I was ready for the apocalypse. Suddenly, a piercing scream rang out outside the Fortress RV. A mutated male zombie was on the street, lunging at a woman with his mouth wide open. The woman twitched and soon stopped breathing. But in the blink of an eye, she dragged her mangled body and lunged at other pedestrians. People on the street fled in all directions, screaming. The whole city had fallen into chaos. I watched the scene coldly through the window. In my past life, I was once one of those being hunted by zombies. Just then, a young man ran out from the supermarket. He dashed straight toward the Fortress RV. I recognized him. He was the guy who helped me load water earlier. He reached the RV and banged frantically on the door. His eyes were full of hope. Inside the RV, I looked through the window expressionlessly. I remained completely unmoved. The young man looked on in utter disbelief. He couldn't understand why I was leaving him to die. Soon, several zombies pounced on him from behind. Sharp teeth greedily tore into his body. I turned away to avoid the bloody sight. In the apocalypse, kindness only gets you killed faster. I pulled Snowy into my arms. In this life, those I care about are already by my side. The fate of others is none of my concern. Outside the RV, the man's eyes turned gray. He was now a zombie. He instinctively continued to bang on the door. The door thudded loudly under his strikes. The noise made me increasingly irritated. I went to the storage area and grabbed a shovel. I opened the window and leaned out. I swung at the zombie with all my strength. With a loud thud, the zombie's head fell to the ground. I pulled the shovel back and went to the bathroom to wash off the blood. Suddenly, a mechanical voice rang in my head. Ding. Zombie killed. Novice reward granted. Fortress RV is now permanently immune to all damage. Mission: submit 1 essence core. My eyes widened in shock. No wonder Celine and the others lived so well in my past life. They must have had the RV evolution system. A virtual screen appeared in front of me. It showed areas that could be expanded. I was stunned. Any storage space could be expanded. This means I can store a massive amount of supplies. It is basically a walking warehouse. But when I saw the requirements, my smile faded. 1 essence core only expands 1 cubic meter. In the early days of the apocalypse, Killing 100 zombies might not yield a single essence core. But then again, every extra cubic meter means more supplies. It is an extra layer of security for me. My priority now is to find an essence core. As time passed, more and more zombies gathered on the street. They were attracted by the scent of blood. They slammed against the RV, trying to drag me out and eat me. But I couldn't hear a thing. With the windows closed, the interior was completely quiet. I felt a surge of excitement. Is damage immunity really this powerful? It even blocks out the noise. This fortress RV is indestructible, a perfect stronghold. Thinking about this makes me feel much better. Humming a tune, I washed the blood off the shovel in the bathroom. Snowy sits on the coffee table, tilting her head. She watches me with her big, innocent eyes. I walk out of the bathroom. We'll go out and kill some zombies once our stomachs are full. Snowy shakes her head in disgust, looking a bit annoyed. She makes cute sounds as I head to the cabinet. I boil some frozen shrimp for Snowy that I bought at Grand Central Mall. Snowy jumps over as soon as she sees the food. Her round eyes are full of longing. Meanwhile, I start digging into my fried chicken and beer. This is pure bliss. Meow? Snowy protests, still waiting for her feast. 5 minutes later, I serve the shrimp to her. Snowy starts eating happily. She lets out a satisfied purr. I sit back on the sofa. Lamb skewers in one hand, beer in the other. Fried chicken and a cold drink. It's so cozy. Outside the RV, a large crowd is running in a panic. They are all wearing the same uniform. They must be colleagues from work. Suddenly, someone with sharp eyes looks through the window. He sees the scene inside the fortress RV. His eyes nearly pop out in shock. How can someone be so relaxed inside an RV during the apocalypse? She is watching TV, drinking beer, and feasting on skewers. The man suddenly has an idea and shouts, "Cars. Let's go hide in the cars." The group runs toward the roadside parking lot. But before they can reach them, they see a zombie in a suit nearby. It smashes a car window with one punch. Then it bites the driver right on the head. They are paralyzed with fear. Cars aren't safe either. What are we supposed to do? Normal cars won't work. But the zombies can't get into that RV, one of them shouts. They run toward Grand Central Mall instead. As they pass the RV, they see me feasting on crawfish. They can't help but wonder, is she even living in the same world as us? After eating my fill, I notice no zombies are surrounding the fortress RV. Usually, zombies use scent and movement to locate and attack their prey. Does the fortress RV block my scent? I skeptically open the window next to the sofa. Instantly, a zombie snaps its head toward me. It lunges at me with stiff movements. Terrified, I quickly shut the window. The zombie immediately loses its target. After a moment of confusion, it goes back to searching for other prey. I get it now. Closing the windows blocks my scent. But if I open them, the zombies will still find me. It is now past 2 p.m. Those who couldn't hide in time have all become zombies. I make a quick estimate. There are hundreds of zombies on the street. Many more are still wandering inside Grand Central Mall. If I kill them all, I might find a few essence cores. The system just told me my fortress RV is permanently immune to all damage. That means it should also be immune to collision damage. I feel a surge of excitement. Since there are too many to kill by hand, I'll just run them over. I enter the cockpit and start the engine. I floor the gas and charge right at the zombies. But I'm not reckless enough to dive into the thickest crowd. As long as I crush their heads, the zombies will be finished. Under the crushing wheels, the street becomes a bloody mess. People hiding nearby look through their windows and feel their skin crawl at the sight. Who is this legend? They're playing with zombies like toys. This vehicle is insane. Not even a single dent after all that crashing. Meanwhile, zombies in Grand Central Mall hear the noise and swarm out. I'm not afraid. I use the fortress RV to strike back. I take down wave after wave of zombies. 20 minutes later, the street is covered in bloody tire tracks. Zombie corpses are scattered everywhere. Most of the nearby zombies have been cleared out. I slowly bring the vehicle to a stop. I grab my shovel and open the door. That's right. I'm going out to find essence cores. I grip the shovel and step onto the bloodstained street. Nearby, some zombies are still twitching on the ground. I split their heads open like watermelons. No essence core here. I move to the next one. People hiding upstairs are already terrified by the sight. Seeing my efficiency makes them even more horrified. It's a girl. Her actions are so brutal. How can she be so calm? I stay focused on finding essence cores. I swing my shovel to smash another head. These killing moves are engraved in my bones. As long as it's not a zombie horde, these lone zombies pose no threat to me. After a careful search, I find 7 essence cores. Not a bad haul. Back inside the fortress RV, I check the expansion options. With a thought, the RV blueprint appears before me. The storage space is clearly displayed. But how should I allocate these 7 cores? The great heat wave will arrive soon. Food and water are the top priorities. Medicine is also essential. The AC will have to run constantly. I also need plenty of gasoline for the generator. After thinking it over, I decide to expand the medicine storage first. 1 cubic meter of space. I click the expand button on the blueprint. A quantity selection screen pops up. 1 essence core expands 1 cubic meter. Please make a choice. I choose a quantity of 1. Then I tap confirm. The mechanical voice speaks again. Congratulations on expanding 1 cubic meter of space. All space now has the eternal freshness field. I'm shocked. This means items will never spoil. This feature is legendary for the apocalypse. I look at the medicine cabinet, but I don't see any changes. I walk over and open the cabinet door. It is already packed with medicine. Everything looks normal. I'm confused. I immediately ask the system, where is the expanded space? Suddenly, a holographic space appears next to the cabinet. It looks very sci-fi. I cautiously put some medicine inside. Then I realize something about the space. I can move and retrieve items with just my mind. Excited, I use 2 essence cores to expand the water tank, and 4 for the fridge. Then, I start the fortress RV. My goal is to find a pharmacy. 10 minutes later, I see a city pharmacy. There are no zombies around the entrance. I park the RV against the door to create a sealed space. This will prevent zombies from getting in. I grab my shovel and head inside. I'm relieved to find no zombies inside. I take a basket to the common medicine shelf. I quickly pack everything without looking closely. Meanwhile, Snowy jumps out of the fortress RV. Maybe she's bored, meowing at me. I pat her head. I tell her I'll be done soon. Snowy rubs against my arm. Her round, blinking eyes are adorable. After filling 2 baskets of medicine, I head back to the fortress RV. I check the remaining space and call out to Snowy. I signal her to follow. She tilts her head as if she understands. She happily follows and jumps into the fortress RV. I put the medicine into my dimensional space. I'm surprised it only takes up half the space. I go back to grab more long-lasting supplies. I also take some immune-boosting medicine. I make several trips back and forth. I finally fill up the storage. 2 hours have already passed, but I don't feel tired at all. I notice the shop next to the city pharmacy. It's a high-end shop called Apex Outdoor Gear. I park the fortress RV right in front. The rolling shutter is locked from the inside. Someone must be inside. I can't miss a chance to gather more gear. I get out and bang loudly on the door. Open up. The man hiding inside is Wilder. The loud knocking nearly scares him to death, but hearing a human voice gives him hope. After hesitating, he opens the shutter. I walk inside and look around the shop. Then I speak. Here is the first piece of advice. The person you let in might kill you. Wilder stands there in a daze. His expression is complex and confused. Before he can speak, I ask him again. Do you have cold weather gear? Wilder nods. He finds a thick cold weather suit on the shelf. I don't reach out when he hands it to me. Instead, I tell him to put it on the floor and step back. Although Wilder is confused, he does as told. I squat to check it, then I speak. Get another set. I will pay you later. Wilder says nothing and heads to the warehouse. I sigh to myself. Most people don't realize how cruel the apocalypse is yet. Otherwise, this man's first thought would be how to kill me and steal the fortress RV. He soon places the second suit on the floor. Then he asks impatiently, what is this second piece of advice? Find a place with plenty of food and wait for rescue. Wilder frowns. This will last a long time, won't it? I do not give him a direct answer. In my previous life, even until I died, I never saw the end of the disaster. I put the 2 suits on the passenger seat. Then I take raincoats and hiking boots. I also take windbreakers and other essentials. I keep going until the storage under the sofa is completely packed. I transfer 100,000 to Wilder. I give him one last warning. Don't trust anyone or show any kindness. Abandon your morals if you want to survive. Wilder looks at me as I leave, deep in thought. He clenches his fists and follows me. Hearing footsteps, I turn around immediately. I pull out the dagger from my waist. Wilder freezes where he stands. He looks at me with a pleading expression. Please take me with you. I can help carry things and fight zombies. I see his desperation, and the strong will to live in his eyes. But this is the apocalypse. I won't gamble on loyalty. It is better to cut all ties from the start. I jump into the car and lock the door. I hit the gas and drive away. I look through the rearview mirror. Wilder's hope has turned into pure hatred. He clenches his fists. It is now dark. I need to hit the mall for more supplies. I park the fortress RV at the loading dock. I check the surroundings to ensure it is safe. I grab my shovel and prepare to get out. Snowy walks over with her tail raised high. She seems to want to come with me. I pick Snowy up and put her on the sofa. I pat her head and say, be good and wait here. It is dangerous outside. Snowy meows. Snowy blinks her big eyes, tilts her head, and lies down. As I enter the passage, I see a delivery truck parked nearby. It is filled with instant noodles and snacks. Boxes of fruit are piled on the ground nearby. They likely haven't been moved to the warehouse yet. I grip my shovel and stay alert as I walk inside. I must watch out for zombies jumping from the corners. My goal this time is clear. I need to stock up on meat, seasonings, and water. A terrifying roar comes from the corner ahead. Soon, a male zombie in a supermarket uniform lunges toward me. I dodge and swing my shovel hard at its head. The zombie hits the ground with a heavy thud. It stops moving completely. But the noise attracts other zombies in the store. Dozens of zombies start closing in on me. I wipe my shovel. I feel no fear of the zombies. I only desire their essence cores. I look at the shelves. If I can block the aisle with 2 shelves, leaving only a narrow gap in the middle, I can kill them one by one as they come through. It is much safer than fighting dozens at once. But the shelves are filled with heavy liquor. I try to pull them, but they do not move. Valeria, it is Penny, the clerk who helped me before. I will not take you with me. I shake the shelf hard. I use all my strength to pull the shelf toward the entrance. Having survived 3 years of the apocalypse, I have seen all sides of human nature. I can see right through this girl's thoughts. With tears in her eyes, Penny pulls on the shelf. The zombies are getting closer, and she is shaking with fear. She can only hope that I will change my mind. The two of us quickly move the shelves into place. We block the path, leaving only a 1-meter gap. Dozens of zombies charge forward. They almost knock the shelf over. Penny retreats 2 steps, trembling. But she keeps glancing at the fortress RV outside. She is clearly planning something. I stand guard at the gap. I kill every zombie that tries to come through. I also check them for essence cores. I glance at Penny. I have already seen through her little scheme. Without looking back, I say, "You cannot drive the fortress RV. There are zombies everywhere outside. If you want to live, find a place to hide with food and water." Penny watches me cut through zombies like watermelons. Knowing I am dangerous, she gives up on her idea. 20 minutes later, I find a clear essence core in the pile of corpses. There is only one, but it is better than nothing. Penny looks at me, covered in blood and smiling. She finds the sight terrifying. She has only one thought now. She needs to leave immediately. Penny follows my advice and finds an office inside the store. She starts moving supplies inside frantically. She was right not to hide in the warehouse. The supplies there will attract too many people. Meanwhile, I have entered the supermarket. I have already killed 3 stray zombies. Then I lock all the other entrances. This prevents zombies from other areas from getting in. After that, I grab a shopping cart. Collecting supplies is my top priority. I head to the deli section first. Braised meat and fried food are my favorites. I fill the cart to the brim. I push the shopping cart back. As I enter the aisle, I see several men in supermarket uniforms. They are trying to pry open the door of my fortress RV. Snowy is behind the glass. She is snarling at them with her fur standing up. One man's wrench is already bent from prying. The fortress RV door still won't budge. He is losing his temper. He smashes the door handle hard several times. But not even the paint is chipped. Another man is even more frustrated. There isn't even a mark. They are all shocked. Even if this RV was made of steel plates, it should have some dents by now. Yet it is completely unscathed. Then someone speaks up. I don't believe this. He turns around. He sees me standing there with my shopping cart. I am staring at them coldly from nearby. The man tries to act calm and asks, "Are you the owner? It's dangerous for a girl to be out here alone. Take us with you. We can protect you." Seeing it is just a girl, the others let out a sigh of relief. She's just a girl. This fortress RV is ours now. I sneer at them and speak. "Get away from my fortress RV immediately, or you will regret it." A man in a security uniform steps forward. He points at my cart. "Did you pay for those items? I suspect you of stealing from the mall. Open the door and let us inspect the fortress RV." He looks smug, thinking his words have me cornered. Mockery flashes in my eyes. In a flash, the sharp edge of my shovel cuts the man's throat. Blood gushes out. The man collapses to the ground. She killed him. The others retreat in terror. It is the apocalypse. What does one life matter? Leave now or stay here with him. They tremble in fear at my words. They turn and run back into the Grand Central Mall. I sigh as I watch them flee. I have already cleared all the zombies in the mall. There is plenty of food and water inside. They just needed to wait for a rescue team to find them. The team would have taken them to the survival sanctuary. They could have survived. Instead, they chose to come here and die. I opened the back door. After everything was done, I got back in the RV and closed the door. Then I locked it from the inside. Snowy jumped into my arms, looking upset. She rubbed her head against me. I patted her head to comfort her. "As long as I'm here, no one can hurt you." I took a large chicken leg out of the bag and placed it on her food plate. Snowy licked her lips at the delicious smell. I opened the refrigerator. First, I moved the produce into the dimensional space. Then I filled it with items from the shopping cart. I used my mind to transfer everything into the space. I realized all these items only filled a small corner. I didn't expect 1 cubic meter to hold so much. I'll need 5 or 6 more trips to fill it up. I remembered the manual pallet jack in the passage. It can carry a lot of things at once. Just as I was about to head back out, I felt something tugging at my pants. I turned and saw Snowy wagging her tail, staring at me. She bit my clothes and wouldn't let go. I smiled. "I need to go collect more supplies, so we can have a better life." Snowy whimpered, but still wouldn't let go. I knelt down and asked, "Do you want to come with me?" Snowy blinked her eyes. Then she jumped into my arms. Back in the passage, I put some crates on the pallet jack. Then I took Snowy and headed into the supermarket. Supermarket survivors hid in fear when they saw me. Clearly, word of what happened outside had spread. I didn't care about them. Stocking up was my priority. I went to the deli section first. I packed up all kinds of braised meats. Then I grabbed many cold side dishes. I couldn't miss the fried dough, pancakes, sushi, and rice dumplings. I took some of everything. Snowy sat on the pallet jack and watched me without running off. She was very well behaved. I stopped when I reached the dessert section. The beautiful cakes looked very tempting. I'm taking these. In this life, I won't mistreat myself. After clearing out the dessert section, I pulled the loaded pallet jack back to the fortress RV. 2 zombies were now by the guard's corpse. They were busy devouring his organs. The smell of blood must have drawn them. Hearing me, they looked up. They lunged at me with their bloody mouths wide open. I grabbed my shovel and expertly split their skulls. My movements were clean and swift. Back on the RV, I kept stuffing items into the fridge. The repetitive work was becoming annoying. If only I had a dimensional space ability, I wouldn't have to manually load and move everything. It was just a passing thought. Compared to my previous life, I am already very lucky. Soon, it fills exactly 1 cubic meter. There are many desserts. Some are left over after filling the space. I put them on the cabinet to eat later. Then, I pull up the Fortress RV schematic. I use the essence cores I found to upgrade the second floor. After expanding the space, I keep moving between the mall and the RV. I move supplies nonstop. Snowy follows me, though she can't help much. She is mainly here for company. The survivors see that I am safe moving around. They all come out to look for food. But they stay far away. They are probably afraid I will hit them with my shovel. A few women whisper to each other. She has been moving things for hours. Can that RV even fit it all? I bet the inside is packed tight. There is probably no room left to stand. It is already early morning by the time I finish. Looking at the fully stocked RV, I feel a rare sense of peace and satisfaction. In the 1 cubic meter expansion on the second floor, it is packed with rice. There are 1,600 pounds of it. Even at 1 pound a day, it will last over 4 years. I feel so secure now. In the other storage spaces on the second floor, there are 500 pounds of flour and 50 barrels of cooking oil. I also have various seasonings. As for the fridge's 4 cubic meter expansion, besides the cooked food and desserts, it also holds meat and seafood. That's nearly 4,000 pounds in total. The 2 cubic meter water tank is filled with mineral water and plenty of drinks. The cabinets are stocked with my favorite sodas. I don't feel sleepy at all right now. I'm even enjoying a cozy hot pot. The pot is bubbling on the stove, surrounded by fresh vegetables and sliced meat. I take a sip of icy soda. Instant satisfaction fills my body. Snowy's plate is piled high with fish and shrimp. She's eating happily without looking up. This all feels a bit like a dream. The hunger and pain of the apocalypse are still fresh in my mind. Yet here I am, with enough food to last for years. And my beloved Snowy is right here with me. I have some mutton, then plum wine, then a little cake. Happiness has never felt this simple and pure. Full and satisfied, I pat my stomach. I clean up and take a nice hot bath before bed. I change into plush pajamas and hop into bed. It's so soft and cozy under the blankets. I lift a corner of the quilt and call out, "Baby." Snowy jumps up and crawls into the covers. Her little head peeking out is adorable. I cuddle Snowy in the soft bed. We fall asleep and don't wake up until noon. Snowy is the one who wakes me up. She is lying right on my chest. She is pressing so hard I can't breathe. I push Snowy off my body. I turn over to keep sleeping, which makes Snowy anxious. I forgot to prepare a litter box for her. Seeing me falling back asleep, Snowy has an idea. She turns around and points her butt at my face. She lets out a huge, smelly fart. Snowy, what did you eat? Why does it smell so bad? I rush Snowy to the bathroom and put her on the toilet. Knowing she did something wrong, Snowy doesn't resist. She clumsily balances on the edge to poop. Meanwhile, I quickly finish washing up. I head to the supermarket to find some breakfast. When I reach the hallway, I notice something. The snacks and fruit from yesterday are all gone. The survivors must have taken everything. I don't care and keep walking further in. But to my surprise, the supermarket entrance is blocked with shelves and boards. I laugh in anger. I cleared the zombies for them. And now they have locked me out. What a bunch of ungrateful people. I will show them what happens when they cross me. I gather a lot of materials from the entrance, like cardboard and scrap wood. I pile them up at the entrance of the passage. Then I grab a can of gasoline and pour it over the pile. I sneer and toss my windproof lighter into it. The flames ignite instantly. Flames spread rapidly through the passage. The survivors inside the supermarket see the fire. They are completely stunned. What are you waiting for? There is alcohol stored in that passage. If it catches fire, we are all dead. Dozens of survivors in the supermarket panic. They rush to find firefighting equipment. There were already broken wine bottles at the entrance from before. Thick black smoke billows toward them. Penny stands in a corner at the edge of the store. She watches them scramble to put out the fire and curses. Idiots. Why provoke her when you know she is dangerous? Just looking for trouble. Luckily, the fire safety system works. Working together, they finally extinguish the fire. They sit on the floor covered in soot, gasping for air. Someone begins to complain. I told you last night not to provoke that woman. She is a cold-blooded lunatic. So what if she takes some supplies? It would not have affected us anyway. Shut up. If she killed old Wong, she will kill us too. You will regret it when the time comes. I agree. We need to find a way to drive her away. Encouraged by the manager, Kane, a dozen strong young men quickly gather. Heavy rain begins to fall outside. I stand outside the passage in a black raincoat. Soon, Kane leads the group to the entrance. They are holding various weapons. Seeing me again, many of them shiver. Kane rolls up his sleeves and shouts, "Everyone charge. Catch her." Instantly, a dozen survivors rush forward. But before they can even attack, my sharp shovel already strikes them. In just a moment, I knock all of them to the ground. The area is filled with cries of pain. 3 years of survival have made me much stronger. These people are no match for me. I squat down beside Kane. I look at him with a cold expression. You just said you wanted to catch me? I was wrong. I just wanted you to leave. Please, let me go. I sneer. Scared now? Too late. I find a rope and tie Kane's hands and feet tightly. Using the escalator on the west side, I drag Kane to the second floor. Kane looks terrified. He has no idea what I will do to him next. I drag a storage shelf over. I place it right in front of the stairs. Then I tie Kane to the shelf. He is forced to face the stairs. What are you doing? Let me go? Kane is filled with terror. Kane is terrified, but I ignore him. Instead, I gather several display shelves. I use them to block the narrow staircase completely. Then I find a shopping cart. I head to the tool room without looking back. When I return, the cart is full of tools. Tied to the shelf, Kane is on the verge of tears. This uncertainty is the most terrifying part. I walk up to Kane. I pick up a small jigsaw from the cart. There are also 2 large chainsaws in the cart. They are perfect for cutting through wood or metal. Seeing this, Kane starts shaking uncontrollably. He begs for mercy over and over. I simply roll my eyes at him. I carry the saw to the shelves blocking the stairs. With a loud roar, the blade screeches against the metal. The sound is maddening. Kane realizes my plan and panics. The noise will definitely attract the zombies upstairs. Once they break through, they will eat him alive. I cut a hole through the shelving units. It is just big enough for one person to pass. As I finish cutting through the last shelf, the stairs are already swarming with zombies. The loud noise drew them all here. I quickly grab a larger logging chainsaw. I tie it firmly to the shelving unit. I mount it about 5 feet off the ground. A zombie tries to rush through the hole. Its head is instantly sliced off by the chainsaw. Blood sprays everywhere, splashing all over Kane's face. He knew all along this woman was using him as bait. Zombies smell the blood and start rushing over. They keep coming toward the hole in a steady stream. One by one, they walk straight to their deaths. This simple trap makes killing zombies much easier. This is all experience I gained from my past life. Now, I just need to wait a while and clear out the corpses. I need to keep the opening from getting blocked. Kane's terrified screams and the roar of the chainsaw echo throughout the entire supermarket. Other survivors hear the noise and come to see what's happening. Their faces turn pale with horror at the sight. Piles of severed limbs are stacked up at the hole. Blood is splattered everywhere. The scene is absolutely terrifying. I walk over to the shelf. I toss the severed limbs blocking the hole aside. Kane stops screaming the moment he sees me approach. He was about to beg for mercy again. But then he sees me pull something from the pile of remains. I pick up a zombie's head. I smash it hard against the ground. The skull instantly splits in two. Kane looks at me in pure terror. He doesn't understand why I'm doing this as I smash a dozen more. Meanwhile, in a claw machine shop across from the supermarket, 2 men and 2 women are looking through the blinds. A girl with a hair bun whispers, "What's going on over there?" The man with glasses beside her frowns, deep in thought. "Let's go check it out anyway. We can cover you while you gather supplies." The other girl said excitedly, "With a chosen one, like you here, we can live well even in the apocalypse." Serena is the girl with the hair bun, known as the chosen one. They were originally out shopping with their boyfriends. Then the zombie outbreak hit. They immediately hid in a claw machine shop. That's how they survived. Meanwhile, Serena realized she had awakened an ability, the rare dimensional space ability. Since they were in Grand Central Mall, full of resources, she was determined to make a big move. The 4 of them sneaked downstairs to the street. They looked around. It was eerily quiet. There were only a few zombie corpses on the ground. They didn't see a single living soul nearby. They cautiously walked toward the supermarket. While passing a corpse outside, Serena's boyfriend, Leo, suddenly gasped and stopped in his tracks. The others were startled. They looked at him, confused. Leo knelt down. He examined the neck of the corpse. This man isn't a zombie. His throat was slit by a blade. Zach's eyes widened in shock. Does that mean he was murdered? The apocalypse only started a few days ago. Murder is still terrifying to them. Leo said cautiously, "No one must know that one of us has awakened a dimensional space ability. Serena's ability is only for storage and has no combat power. If others find out, they will try to kidnap her. Controlling Serena means controlling the storage space. This must remain a secret." The other 3 nodded solemnly. They all realized how serious the situation was. Leo and the others walked through the scorched passage. They soon reached the supermarket entrance. They slipped inside while no one was watching. They were excited to see the supermarket full of supplies. However, they couldn't take anything yet. They had to wait until everyone was asleep at night. They hid in an empty corner. Following Leo's suggestion, they moved slowly. They headed toward the sound of a chainsaw. On the second floor, Serena and Sarah were instantly terrified. Their faces turned pale as they clung to each other. The 2 men looked just as pale. Their lips were white and their bodies were stiff. Nearby, zombie corpses were piled up like a small mountain. Shattered heads were scattered everywhere. Standing next to the pile was a woman in a black raincoat. Zombies kept rushing from a hole, only to be sliced into pieces. The man tied near the hole appeared neither dead nor alive. He was no longer moving. Serena whispered, "I suspected it might be a human, using a chainsaw to fight the zombies. I didn't expect to see this scene. It is too terrifying and bloody." Nearby, Leo was filled with shock. He said with a serious expression, "I worked all day and only found 3 essence cores. My luck is not great. I will find the warehouse first. I need to get some food for Snowy and myself." I walked over to Kane. I cut his ropes with a knife and said, "That is enough for today. We will continue tomorrow." Kane collapsed to the floor. He had only one thought now. He wanted to get out of this hellhole immediately. Leo and his group were hiding and watching. They were in the bedding area on the 2nd floor. Seeing me leave, Leo whispered his plan to the others. "Wait until 2 or 3 in the morning. Sarah and I will help Serena collect the supplies. Restore the power 10 minutes later and return here. No one will realize it was us." Meanwhile, I followed the signs in the supermarket. I quickly found the warehouse. The warehouse was massive. The shelves were packed with items. There were all kinds of daily necessities. Further inside was a cold storage room. It was full of vegetables, fruits, and meat. I grabbed a cart. I took various fruits and vegetables. Before leaving, I went to the freezer in the cold storage. I packed a lot of my favorite ice cream. After filling 2 carts, I headed back satisfied. Back at the Fortress RV, Snowy was starving and ate greedily, completely ignoring me. I took out the 3 essence cores I gathered today. I used them all to expand the fridge space. Then I stored the new supplies in the expanded space. Fruits and vegetables each took up 1 cubic meter. The ice cream only filled half a cubic meter. Seeing the empty space left, my OCD started to kick in. So I decided to take the trailer to the nearby snack street. It was late. I could see stars in the night sky. Dim lights flickered in the shops. Scattered zombie corpses lay on the road. I headed straight for a milk tea shop. I craved this so much in my past life. I went into a shop and found the warehouse. I moved out all the stored ingredients. As long as I have enough ingredients, I can make any drink I want in the future. Then I checked out the restaurant next door. I grabbed a chicken feet and crab pot meal kit from the kitchen. This will be my late night snack. To keep their recipes secret, many chain restaurants use pre-packaged meal kits. They only need to be heated up. People say meal kits are unhealthy, but soon, even these will be gone. I pulled the cart back to the Fortress RV. I took the bags of milk tea ingredients and put them into the fridge storage. I felt satisfied once it was completely full. This is my greatest joy right now. I went to the kitchen and grabbed a wok. I opened a meal kit and heated it up. I decided to have some chilled watermelon tonight. I cut the watermelon from this afternoon in half. I put it in the fridge to chill. When the crab and chicken pot started bubbling, I turned off the heat to let it simmer. I went to take a relaxing hot shower. Then I put my dirty clothes in the washing machine. I dried my hair. Everything was ready. Dinner time. I put on a movie on my phone. It was a relaxing film about countryside food. I started with a big scoop of chilled watermelon. It was so cold and refreshing. Snowy came over, wanting a taste. The watermelon is too cold for your stomach. And these meal kits are full of additives. You can't eat this. Snowy tilted her head. It felt like I was bullying a little kitten. Luckily, she had already eaten her fill. She curled up on the sofa to sleep. Even if meal kits aren't healthy, in the silence of the night, I enjoyed my food and the movie. After I finished eating and washed the dishes, it's already past 1 a.m. I brushed my teeth and went to bed. I hugged Snowy and fell asleep immediately. I'm so tired today. I'll sleep in tomorrow. I planned to sleep until the afternoon, but at dawn, the Fortress RV security alarm went off. It woke me up from my deep sleep. I grabbed my phone to check. It's only 6 a.m. Who is bothering me? You'd better have a good reason, or I won't let this go. I installed 360-degree cameras around the RV. The alarm won't trigger if someone just passes by. It only goes off if someone loiters for more than 5 minutes, or tries to attack the Fortress RV. It only rings if I'm asleep and unaware. That's the only time the alarm sounds. I installed many smart gadgets in this Fortress RV. I turned on the monitor and saw a crowd. Many people were surrounding the RV. I recognized some of them. They are the survivors from the supermarket yesterday. I got out of bed. I opened the window on the door and started yelling. Are you crazy? It's so early. Why are you gathered here? The aggressive crowd was stunned. Then they became angry too. You thief. You can't take all those supplies for yourself. You should have left some for us. I was about to yell back. What's going on? The leader roared. Everything has been stolen. Even if it was her. It's impossible to move everything quietly in one night. Unless there is a dimensional space user here. I got dressed and grabbed my shovel. I headed to the supermarket, and the survivors followed. The supermarket shelves were once full. Now they are so empty that not even a wrapper is left. No one could do this. Except for a dimensional space user. I didn't expect to encounter such a rare ability user so early. Especially a dimensional space user. Since the apocalypse began, in the sanctuary from my previous life, there were only a few thousand ability users among hundreds of thousands. That shows how rare they are. Dimensional space users are the rarest of all. They are the best at transporting supplies. I looked around and turned to Kane. Where is the surveillance? Kane explained nervously. We thought it was just the wiring, becoming unstable after the fire, so we ignored it. But this morning, we found everything was gone. We checked the cameras and found the wires were damaged. Nothing was recorded after the power went out. Just as I thought, cutting the power to steal supplies means they have no combat power. A dimensional space user must reach mid or high level before they can evolve the ability to teleport or develop space blades. They have combat potential, but they chose to steal instead. And now they are pinning the blame on me. I asked again, who said I'm the thief? Kane immediately pointed into the crowd. He pointed at a young man. Leo thought that as long as he shifted the suspicion to a lone girl, his group could stay hidden. I sized up Leo and his friends. I observed everyone's expressions. The others looked angry and terrified. They are acting angry on the surface, but they are actually very calm. The dimensional space user must be one of those 4. Leo felt uneasy under my stare. If people find out they stole the supplies, they won't survive the consequences. So they have to insist that this girl is the thief. Leo said firmly, I saw you coming back to the supermarket last night to take everything. I almost laughed at his stupidity. What a pathetic excuse. I gave them a chance to live, but they wasted it. Don't blame me for being ruthless. The survivors nearby heard this claim. Their eyes nearly popped out in shock. They were already mourning for this young man in their hearts. Of all people to provoke, he chose her. If this woman really wanted to take the supplies, no one could stop her. Besides, how could she move everything alone? Without making a single sound? Sure enough, I rushed toward the four of them the next second. Slash! My shovel sliced through Serena's throat. Leo was sprayed with blood. He looked at Serena in horror. Serena clutched her bleeding throat with both hands. Her mouth moved, but only blood gushed out. Am I not the chosen girl? How can I die so easily? Leo held Serena and screamed. Serena, Serena, don't leave me. You won't die. Everyone in the supermarket saw this. Even though they were prepared, they still trembled with fear. I told them not to provoke her. They just had to seek death. No one can stop it. She kills without a second thought. She won't waste words on someone she can just kill. Under Leo's terrified gaze, Serena took her final breath with regret. Instantly, the missing supplies burst out of thin air. They piled up into a small mountain. Leo's attempt to hide her earlier revealed her as the weakness. He thought he could frame me with such a low IQ? Seeking death. Back at the Fortress RV, I opened a cold Coke. A few gulps later, I felt much more relaxed. It seems this supermarket shelter is no longer a place to stay. Aside from the piles of zombie corpses, bacteria and viruses will soon spread. I also need to watch out for Leo. He definitely won't let this go. I opened the map on my phone to check our next move. There is a farmer's market 10 kilometers away. That looks like a good spot to find seeds for cultivation. If I succeed, I can use them to turn my expanded space into a farm dimension. Snowy, let's go. I start the engine and slowly drive away from Grand Central Mall. There aren't many zombies on the road right now. I just speed up and ram through any that block my path. 20 minutes later, the GPS leads me to the farmer's market. But as I enter, I notice something is wrong. The road ahead is packed with abandoned vehicles. They are all crowded together, completely blocking the way. This is bad. The outbreak must have hit while the market was busy. Realizing this, I immediately try to turn around. But it is already too late. The sound of the engine has attracted the zombies. In an instant, zombies swarm out from every corner. They gather around the Fortress RV in massive numbers. There are at least several hundred of them. I put the Fortress RV in reverse and move back a few meters. After crushing dozens of zombies, I am completely stuck. The RV is immune to damage, but its horsepower is limited. Facing such a thick crowd of zombies, it cannot simply plow through them like a bulldozer. The zombies frantically claw and pound at the RV. They snarl and gnash their teeth. Their gray eyes look absolutely terrifying. My skin crawls at the sight of them. This is bad. I've completely miscalculated. Snowy's fur stands on end as she watches the commotion outside. I comfort Snowy and pull her into my arms. Since things have come to this, I'll eat some ice cream to calm my nerves. I'll even turn on the monitor and watch a funny show. Anyway, the zombies can't get inside the Fortress RV. The commotion from the zombie swarm catches the attention of survivors in the farmer's market. On the 6th floor of a nearby building, a man peeks out and quickly hides. Benny slumps on the floor and whispers. Everyone else in the room is paralyzed with fear. No one dares to move or make a sound. Benny's mother speaks up. I think I heard the sound of a vehicle just now. Who would be coming here at a time like this? His wife adds. The internet said a rescue team was being formed. They are working hard to save survivors. Could it be the rescue team? Benny's father lights a cigarette. Their family owns a tool shop on the ground floor of the market. On the day it started, Benny's father was alone in the shop. At noon, a customer who was browsing tools suddenly pounced at him with bared teeth. Benny's father thought the man had rabies. He was terrified and ran straight home. He only realized it was a zombie outbreak after he got back. Luckily, his whole family managed to survive together. Inside the RV, I see the situation outside hasn't improved at all. I have to find a way to save myself. If I wait for a rescue team, I don't know how long it will take. I can't afford to wait. I have plenty of food stored in the Fortress RV. It's enough food to last me for several years. But the fuel tank hasn't been upgraded, so storage is low. If I don't turn on the AC in the Fortress RV, the inside will feel like a steamer. But if I keep the AC on all day, the solar panels on the roof won't be enough. I would need to use the gasoline generator for power. However, my fuel reserves will only last a few days. My only choice now is to fight my way out. Luckily, I learned a lot of skills in my previous life. I set the AC to the lowest temperature. I make sure all doors and windows are tightly closed. Then, I take several buckets of cooking oil and climb out through the roof hatch. The zombies smell my fresh scent and become even more restless. They wish they had wings to fly up and eat me. Some are crushed to the ground by the crowd. Other zombies step on them to climb higher. If this continues, the Fortress RV will eventually be buried under the horde. I stab holes in the oil buckets with a knife. I grab the handles and throw them out with force. The leaking oil buckets fall into the middle of the horde. Then, I light a lighter and toss it out. I quickly hide back inside the RV and close the hatch. Boom. A massive fire erupts instantly. With the oil fueling it, the fire grows stronger. The entire zombie horde is engulfed in a sea of flames. Their horrific screams echo through the air. I look out through the window. The Fortress RV is engulfed in orange flames. The external temperature continues to rise. I am starting to panic. You said the RV is immune to all damage. You better not be lying to me. I hope the tires don't melt. I hope the battery doesn't explode. If anything goes wrong, this RV will turn into an oven. Half an hour later, the news is broadcasting live on the TV. Officials are trying to calm the public and reduce panic. From my past life, I know even the military could not stop the zombies. The most effective rescue plan right now is to clear out safe zones for a survival sanctuary. There are two types of sanctuaries. One is the central sanctuary. The other is private, usually formed by tycoons, who recruit people with special abilities. Regardless of the sanctuary, resources will be extremely scarce. You must rely on your own skills to find food. The fire finally burns out late at night. Red embers are still glowing in some places. It is likely still too hot to touch. I decide to sleep and collect the essence cores tomorrow. I wake up at dawn the next day. After confirming no zombies are around, I open the door. Black ash fills the air. A strong smell of burning hits me. The ground is covered with charred corpses. I put on a raincoat and a mask. I grab a shovel and prepare to leave. Meow. Snowy stares at me with her big round eyes. She wants to come with me. I pat her head and say, "Stay home. If you get dirty, I will have to give you a bath." Hearing the word bath, Snowy turns and leaves. She hates baths more than anything. The zombies were burnt to charcoal in the fire. Stepping on them makes a loud crunching sound. I walk toward the edge. Black dust floats in the air as I walk. Like a hard-working farmer, I swing the shovel at the zombies' heads. There are thousands of zombies here. I will definitely find essence cores. It just depends on how many. Meanwhile, Benny's family watches from upstairs. Should we go down to find essence cores? I read online that they might be very useful. Sienna shakes her head quickly. I am not going. I am afraid of being infected. You guys should not go either. We can forget the cores, but we must get food. The news says the temperature is rising every day. Who knows when the rescue team will arrive? Hoarding supplies is the most important thing now. Everyone agrees with Benny's father. They decide to take weapons and go down for food and water. After a busy morning, I can't wait to return to the Fortress RV and pull up the system view. Then I am surprised to discover my small fish tank can actually be expanded. I immediately use an essence core to expand the space within the fish tank. Congratulations on unlocking the fish pond dimension. Time flows at a normal rate in the fish pond dimension. Reward: automatic water optimization and oxygenation. Aquatic plants will grow to promote an ecological cycle. I see the fish pond is filled with water. There are colorful stones at the bottom. Green water plants are floating in the water. My eyes widen in shock. In this post-apocalyptic world of endless disasters, the importance of sustainable production is obvious. Excited, I click to expand the potted plant next. Input quantity: 1. Congratulations on unlocking the farm dimension. Time flows at a normal rate in the farm dimension. Sunlight, nutrients, and oxygen levels are all normal. The soil remains moist. Suddenly, I find myself in a vast white space. Gentle sunlight shines down from above. Beneath my feet is moist black soil. It is only 1 square meter. This is a unique space. There is a 1 square meter pool next to it. It is the fish pond dimension I just expanded. The fish pond and farm have actually merged. This surprises me. I try walking toward the edge. I tentatively reach out to touch it. A system notification sounds. Only farming-related items can enter the farm dimension. Space is limited and for farming use only. Fish pond water and farm soil are for internal use only. They cannot be taken out. I use the remaining 8 essence cores to upgrade the sofa cabinet storage. These 8 cubic meters will be used for seeds. Since the farm provides renewable resources, hoarding seeds is the most practical choice. No time to eat. I drive toward the farmer's market. I park the vehicle a bit further down the street. The ground here is relatively clean. I pull a hand trolley into a seed shop. The shop is quite large. Grain seeds and some common medicinal herb seeds. I find some large boxes. I take everything and load it onto the vehicle. One load after another. I tirelessly move back and forth until the sofa cabinet space is completely full. Then I walk into a nearby farm tool shop. Small hoes and sickles. I take some small shovels as well. Sienna, who is watching my every move, says excitedly, "She is taking our family's farming tools. You thief." Stealing my things in broad daylight right in front of me. Benny, standing beside her, is speechless. Besides, we've stolen plenty of things from others too. Back on the Fortress RV, I'm exhausted. I slump onto the sofa. Snowy jumps up and meows. Her big round eyes are so cute. I hold her in my arms and pet her gently. Suddenly, a roar comes from the sky. I quickly look out the window. A military helicopter is flying overhead. It's flying low, and the wind from the blades kicks up dust. I frown and mutter. The central sanctuary has started to act. I need to hurry and start my plan. The helicopter uses loud noise to lure the zombies. They're leading them to the outskirts to wipe them out. But the real challenge isn't the zombies. It's the natural disasters. During the Great Heat Wave, temperatures will soar to over 60 degrees. People will suffer from heat stroke. The internet will go down and fires will break out everywhere. Supplies will be destroyed. This is when humanity will truly be pushed to the brink. I must hunt as many zombies as possible before the heat wave arrives. I need essence cores to expand my space and store supplies. Hunting zombies quickly and efficiently is my priority. My first step is to upgrade the Fortress RV. I'll turn it into a powerful zombie harvester. Suddenly, the system notification sounds. Pay 50 essence cores to upgrade the RV and unlock the auto core collection feature. 50 essence cores? Are you a bandit? Wait, you mean auto core collection? Honestly, I'm tempted. If the Fortress RV can auto-collect cores, it will be much more efficient. But I don't have that many cores right now. So I had an idea and told the system, give me a loan. I'll pay you back later with the cores I collect. A moment later, the notification sounds again. No problem, but there is interest. You must pay back 200 essence cores in total. I cursed the system in my head. You greedy system. That's daylight robbery. I grit my teeth and say, fine, 200 it is. Just upgrade it. The system will finish the upgrade tonight. It won't disturb your sleep. Please rest assured. After making the deal, I feel much more relaxed. I decide to check on the farm dimension. It's Snowy's first time here. She walks to the fish pond dimension. She watches the fish swimming around. I pick up a shovel and dig a small hole. I'm going to plant seeds in this plot. Snowy sees me working and comes to help. I drop 2 seeds. She uses her paws to cover them with soil. The soil has the perfect moisture. I don't even need to water them. After finishing, I pick up dirty Snowy. I plan to give her a good bath once we are out. But when we return to the Fortress RV, both of us are completely clean. There is no dirt on us. I soon realize why. The system said soil and water from the dimension cannot be taken out. That is why we are clean. This is actually quite convenient. It saves me from bathing and changing clothes every time I finish working. After tidying everything up, I get into bed with Snowy. I fall into a deep sleep. The next morning, I rush out of the Fortress RV to check the upgrade. The front bumper now has something new. There are 2 rows of sharp blade rollers. At the same time, the system notification sounds. The start switch is in the driver's cabin. The Essence Core collection box is under the center console. I go back inside the vehicle to check. Next to the start button, I see it. There is a new red button. I press it. The blade rollers in front of the car spin at high speed. It looks terrifying. Anything caught in there will be shredded instantly. I can't wait to test its power. Where can I find the most zombies right now? It must be the meat grinder at the central sanctuary. I just need to wait on the road leading to the meat grinder. There will be endless zombies to kill. I start the engine and drive slowly out of the farmer's market. I haven't driven very far. Before zombies hear the noise and rush toward the Fortress RV, I sneer and activate the blade rollers. In an instant, the zombies are sucked in. They come out as a pile of mashed meat. I can't hide my excitement. Driving this RV feels amazing. I see a gas station on the road. I pull in to fill up both fuel tanks. This station is self-service. I just scan the code to pay. Helicopters keep flying overhead. After refueling, I immediately follow them. Soon, I get onto a national highway. This highway has clearly been modified. After driving a bit further, many low-flying helicopters appear. Below them is a sea of zombies. After they lure the zombies here, they head back to the city to lure the next wave. Once the helicopters leave, a military truck with cages appears. The cages are filled with live animals. The zombies on the highway are lured by the meat in the cages. They are guided toward the meat grinder. I can't imagine how spectacular it is inside the meat grinder. I speed up. The blade rollers spin wildly. One zombie after another is ground into meat. Inside the helicopter above, the pilot is stunned by the sight below. A pink Fortress RV has mixed into the zombie horde. It is clearly heavily modified. Usually, people run away when they see zombies. They are probably here to collect essence cores. Should we report this to our team? The pilot thinks for a moment. Our team has probably already noticed her. They haven't stopped her because they don't care. There are too many zombies anyway. Let her kill them if she wants. Not many people know the use of essence cores yet. This person is quite clever. She is likely an ability user. The co-pilot agrees. The sanctuary needs ability users. Someone will negotiate with her when she leaves. They will ask her to join the sanctuary. The helicopter circles the Fortress RV. Then it flies toward the city. Inside the Fortress RV, I'm exhausted and still haven't found the meat grinder. I turn the vehicle around and park against the tide of zombies. The blade rollers continue to harvest the zombies. To my surprise, inside the transparent box in the center console, there are more than just essence cores. There is also a lot of jewelry. I pour it all onto the coffee table. There are 25 essence cores in total. Before I can even celebrate, all the essence cores suddenly disappear. Cores collected will be used to repay the system first. 175 cores remaining. I have to accept it. If the system hadn't modified the Fortress RV, collecting essence cores wouldn't be this easy. I stop worrying about the system for now. I feed Snowy, watch some TV, and go to sleep. Early the next morning, I check the core collection box. It is full of essence cores. I am thrilled. I pour them on the table and count them one by one. I collected 71 essence cores. At this rate, I can pay back the system by tomorrow morning. After that, every core I get will be mine. Suddenly, I am full of energy. I start the vehicle and turn it around. Today is even hotter than yesterday. The AC must run 24/7 to control the temperature. Luckily, there are solar panels on the roof. They ease my anxiety about fuel. I eat snacks while driving, moving slowly down the highway. 4 hours later, the meat grinder slowly comes into view. I go to the roof to look out. I am shocked by the power of this heavy industry. There are 3 massive objects on the flat ground. They are long, cylindrical metal rollers, over 100 meters long and thicker than buildings. Their smooth surfaces reflect the cold sunlight. Where the 3 rollers meet, there is a massive circular power hub. It makes the giant rollers turn slowly. In front of this giant machine, everything else looks tiny and pathetic. Swarms of zombies are being lured toward the central hub. Dense swarms of zombies are lured into the power hub, wherever the metal rollers pass. The zombies are crushed into pulp. There is a conveyor belt behind the rollers. It carries the remains away. If I am right, they are being sent to have their essence cores extracted. As expected of the central sanctuary, they built such a massive, efficient machine so quickly. Private bases cannot compete with this. Back inside the fortress RV, I will stay for a few days to collect more essence cores. I will leave once the fuel is almost gone. Life became quite repetitive after that. By the next day, I repaid the 104 essence cores I owed the system. I have 22 cores left. I immediately expanded the fish pond and farm dimensions. This will help increase my long-term food production. By the third day, I have 98 cores, plus the 12 left over from yesterday. That means I can expand my space by 110 cubic meters. Just as I was dreaming of the future, the fuel alarm went off. I was shocked when I checked the gauge. The tank is nearly empty. I did not realize the zombie harvester used so much fuel. I quickly drove onto the main road. I navigated to the nearest gas station. I did not start refueling immediately. First, I decided to expand both fuel tanks. I expanded the storage by 30 cubic meters. Now, with full tanks, the Fortress RV can travel hundreds of thousands of kilometers without a problem. I will never worry about fuel again. I also need to expand the water tanks. I used 30 essence cores to expand the fresh water tank. I used 20 more for the purified water tank. After filling the fuel tanks, I checked the GPS. I began looking for my next destination. Suddenly, a helicopter roared from the distance. It hovered right above my head, while it was still 10 meters above the ground. Several figures jumped out of the cabin. Thud, thud, thud. They smashed deep craters into the ground. But they walked toward me as if nothing happened. I frowned and stayed alert. Ability users are at the top of the pyramid in this apocalypse. Every base fights to recruit them. But what do these metal manipulation users want with me? My name is Marcus. I am the head of construction for the Central Sanctuary. We detected that you might be a metal manipulation user. We are here to invite you to join our sanctuary. Me, a metal manipulation user? You must be mistaken. Marcus did not believe me. This RV's metal is so reinforced that zombies cannot even leave a scratch on it. Even if you are not a metal manipulation user, you must have some other ability. Name any conditions you have. We will do our best to meet them. The problem is, I really am not a metal user. But I cannot reveal the RV evolution system. So I had to act cold and refuse. Not interested. Marcus saw how firm I was. He helplessly handed me a business card. It has my contact info and address. Find me if you change your mind. I took the card and gave him a polite handshake. Then they left in a helicopter. But a second later, I noticed my hand had turned into metal. It looked cool, but I was shocked. Am I really a metal manipulation user? Why didn't I notice this before? I could not figure it out. Whatever. Awakening an ability is a good thing. I went back to the Fortress RV and checked the map. Not far from this gas station, there is a water treatment plant. I can use it to fill my expanded water tank. I started the engine and set off. Inside the water treatment plant, a team from the Central Sanctuary was moving through the facility. This was their first mission since the team was formed. Their goal was to rescue survivors and retrieve the water purification equipment. Zombies. Celine looked like a fragile flower in a storm. Her screams quickly attracted the nearby zombies. Snarling, they all lunged toward the group. The other four were so angry they wanted to curse. Although they were all ability users, they only possessed low-level abilities. Managing a dozen zombies was fine, but they couldn't abandon Celine. She was a rare dimensional space ability user. They needed her to store the equipment later. Julian's face darkened. He used his cryokinesis to fire waves of ice arrows. But as one group fell, the next immediately lunged forward. They were endless. He couldn't kill them all. Beside him, Raven started cursing. Shut up. Why the hell are you screaming? Do you have a death wish? If you want to die, don't drag us down with you. We don't want to die. Julian remained silent. He was also completely fed up with Celine. She was still being a burden in this life or death situation. Celine was furious after being scolded. Do you know who my father is? How dare you speak to me like that? You will regret this once we get out. Besides, I have the rare dimensional space ability. The higher-ups said that even if you die, I must be kept alive. After the outbreak, Julian had awakened cryokinesis, and Celine awakened the dimensional space ability. Her father, Arthur, donated supplies to the Central Sanctuary. He even became the head of the logistics department. He is mainly responsible for resource allocation in the sanctuary. He has a lot of influence in the Central Sanctuary. After all, he manages the supplies. Most people are very polite to him. Raven gritted her teeth. So you really want us to die? If we die, do you think you can make it out alive? Celine couldn't win the argument. She started whining to Julian again. Julian didn't want to talk to her. He wondered what kind of trash he had married. If it were Valeria, this would never have happened. Julian suggested, we can't keep stalling like this. We have to get out. Otherwise, we'll really die here. Raven was fuming with rage. Then tell her to get up and walk. If she keeps acting up like this, I'm not staying here to die with her. Julian asked Celine, can you stand up? We can't stay here. Celine whined. If she can't stand, then let her die here. Raven and the other two teammates turned and left quickly without looking back. Seeing this, Celine jumped up instantly. What are you doing? Do you really want me to die here? Julian suppressed the urge to throw her to the zombies and shouted. Stop talking. Just follow me. Celine saw that they really wouldn't help her, and her legs weren't weak anymore. She followed Julian closely. The five fought zombies while heading for the exit. Things looked bad. Dante fired his last lightning bolt and said, "My energy is exhausted." Skip was also worried. "I'm running out soon too." Then he thought of something and asked, "If we really can't break out?" Before Julian could speak, Celine snorted. "You guys just tried to leave me behind, and now you want to enter my space?" The three of them looked at her coldly. How did they get such a stupid teammate? So unlucky. Julian said sternly, "Celine, we are a team. They stayed behind just to protect you. You can't be like this." Celine's tone softened. "Fine. Since Julian said so, I'll let them in reluctantly. I'll settle the score when we're back at the survival sanctuary. We almost died protecting you. And you still want to settle a score?" Just then, a loud mechanical roar caught their attention. A pink Fortress RV was driving toward the factory. The high-speed zombie harvester on the front was shredding through the zombies. Raven quickly flashed her flashlight toward the RV. She tried to get the driver's attention. Julian's expression became complicated when he saw the vehicle. Celine looked surprised and hostile. Valeria is still alive. Inside the Fortress RV. I noticed the situation here earlier. I didn't want to get involved at first, but seeing so many zombies gathered together, I couldn't resist harvesting them. I drive the Fortress RV to the warehouse entrance. I plow straight into the zombie crowd. I stop and wait for the rollers to grind them all up. The zombies are mostly cleared out. The people trapped inside slowly appear before me. Julian and Celine. What a small world. Thinking about what they did in my past life, I feel a surge of anger. Celine notices Julian's expression. She punches him. "Why are you looking at her like that? Are you still not over her?" Julian loses his temper. "Have you had enough? You almost got us killed. We would all be dead if not for Valeria. Can't forget your ex-girlfriend? Now you think she is better than me? You weren't like this when you cheated on her. Just to be with me." The onlookers are shocked by the drama. The trio is stunned by what they are hearing. They didn't expect such a big scandal. Celine points at the Fortress RV and screams, "It's the apocalypse. How can you shamelessly follow Julian everywhere? The two of us are already married." Julian feels incredibly embarrassed. He steps forward to pull Celine away. "Enough. How long are you going to keep making a scene?" Celine is furious. "What's with your attitude? Are you taking her side?" "I am telling the truth. She must have heard you were here and came specifically to find you. Everyone knows Valeria is madly in love with you." Meanwhile, I step down from the Fortress RV with a shovel. I walk straight toward Celine. The next second, I throw a powerful punch at her face. Celine flies back 2 meters and slams onto the ground. Her eyes are filled with shock and disbelief. A cold smirk appears on my face. The metallic glow on my right hand slowly fades. The 3 onlookers are shocked. A metal manipulation user. She's actually a metal manipulation user. The trio looks secretly satisfied. Finally, someone can teach that woman a lesson. Julian looks at Celine's face, which is now swollen like a pig. She is already unconscious. His eyes are cold, but then he walks toward me with an affectionate look. "Valeria, my marriage to Celine was just for business. The one I have always loved is you. If this were before the apocalypse. But now, it just makes me want to vomit." I aim for Julian's head and swing my shovel with all my might. With a loud bang, Julian is instantly dazed. He sways, unable to stand steady. My expression turns cold. I stare at them both with murderous intent. "You scumbags. I'm going to kill you today." Julian feels a chill, sensing things are going bad. He instinctively uses his arm to block. A deep gash is instantly cut into his arm. I swing the shovel again. But Celine suddenly lunges forward. She uses her dimensional space ability to vanish with Julian. I put away my shovel, feeling a wave of regret. They actually escaped such a perfect opportunity. At that moment, I notice a strange sensation in my body again. This feeling is exactly the same as when I awakened my metal manipulation. I decide to test it out. The shovel in my hand instantly disappears. My eyes light up. I make the shovel reappear in my hand. Then, I focus my mind again. I try to take an ice cream cone from the RV's fridge. The next second, the cone actually appears in my hand. Dimensional space ability. I can't believe it. I actually awakened the dimensional space ability. And it's even connected to the space inside the Fortress RV. In the future, when I collect supplies, I won't have to haul them back load by load. I can just store them directly into my space. Dante almost thinks he is seeing things. Dimensional space ability. A dual element user is even rarer than a space user. None have appeared in the sanctuary yet. Raven shouts in shock. Meanwhile, I focus my mind again. An ice arrow forms in my palm. Cryokinesis. The 3 bystanders are completely stunned. They realize they've met a legendary powerhouse. Suddenly, I appear in front of Raven and smile. "Hey beautiful, what is your ability?" Raven answers, feeling flattered. I reach out my hand. "Nice to meet you." Raven shakes my hand excitedly. "It's an honor to meet you, boss. Are you really a triple element user?" I just smile without a word. "It's hot. Have some ice cream." Raven quickly takes it. "Thank you, boss." Then I look at Skip. I reach out and ask him the same thing. Skip shakes my hand excitedly. "Sister, I don't eat ice cream." Raven slaps him. "Who asked if you wanted ice cream?" "She's asking what your ability is." "Oh right." Skip looks embarrassed. I hand him a cold Coke. "It's hot. If you don't want ice cream, have a soda." Skip quickly took it. He thanked me and kept bowing. Dante was quick-witted. He shook my hand before I could even ask. Boss. I nodded and smiled at the three of them. I have a bit of a bad temper. I hope you three can keep what happened today a secret. Raven quickly promised, don't worry, boss. We only saw what happened to Celine and Julian. We don't know anything else. A triple ability user who is both decisive and ruthless. This woman will definitely achieve great things in this apocalypse. Raven and the others immediately declared their loyalty. Boss, what are your plans next? If you ever need help, please remember us. We want to follow you. I gave a casual reply and walked into the water treatment plant. They whispered as they watched me walk away. Triple abilities. I'm so jealous. I hope she can find a use for us in the future. Looking at the lightning flickering in my palm, I sneered. I don't just have 3 abilities. I am a 6-element user now. My true power is actually mimicry ability. As long as I make physical contact with someone, I can copy their ability and make it my own. I carefully inspected the water tank. I confirmed that the water source was clean. It was not contaminated by zombies. I put my hand in the water and focused my mind. The clean and pure water tanks were filled instantly. With a thought, I appeared inside the fortress RV. Snowy was startled by my sudden appearance. She looked confused, unable to understand what happened. I went to the cockpit and opened the core collection box. There were 12 essence cores in total. I used them all to upgrade the clean water tank. Since I am at the water treatment plant, I must stock up on water. I tried to teleport back to the factory building. I wanted to fill the new 12 cubic meter space. However, I found that I could not do it. It seems I can only teleport to the RV from the outside. I cannot teleport from the RV to the outside world. The 3 people waiting outside saw me. Wow, the boss has already learned how to teleport. That is amazing. I asked them why they were still there. Raven explained, we are waiting for Celine and Julian. I raised an eyebrow. Are those 2 coming out from here? Yes. Celine cannot teleport. She must exit from the same place she entered. Once they come out, we have to continue our mission. I see. I gave them a wicked smile. Don't you need to look for survivors? Go ahead. I will wait here for you. I sat on the steps nearby. I ate melon seeds while playing on my phone. About an hour passed. That wretched couple finally emerged from the space. I quickly swung my shovel at their throats. But Celine reacted fast. She used her ability and they vanished again. I waited until evening, but they never came out. There is no point in wasting time on these cowards. The outdoor temperature is nearly 50 degrees now. It is unbearable. I will kill them next time I get the chance. I got up and walked back to the fortress RV. Once inside, I took a cold shower. I changed into some lighter clothes. The weather will only get hotter from now on. I don't want to go outside anymore. I decided to find a place to relax. 20 minutes later, the blade rollers were endlessly harvesting zombies. Then I took Snowy into the farm dimension. I wanted to test my wood element ability. Snowy really loves it here. She ran around happily as soon as we entered. The wood element can control plants. I slowly released the energy from my body. In an instant, the plants grew about 10 centimeters. I continued until my energy was completely drained. I frowned. I am likely only between level 1 and level 2. This is too weak. If I tried to grow the whole farm, they would probably only become small sprouts. However, in my past life, there were rumors. The sanctuary was researching a powerful ability enhancement serum. Normal people can awaken abilities after drinking it. Ability users can use it to increase their levels. After thinking for a moment, I asked the system, do you have the ability enhancement serum? Ability enhancement serum. 50 essence cores per bottle. Ability recovery serum. In my past life, the sanctuary couldn't figure it out even after 3 years. But the system actually has it for sale. If this news ever got out, every ability user would go crazy for it. But then again, it's so expensive. I only have about 20 or 30 cores in my collection box. I was thinking of bargaining with the system. But before I could speak, the system's urgent alarm went off. Warning, the fortress RV is being targeted. It may flip over in the coming explosion. Spend all essence cores for protection? Targeted? I quickly looked out the window. A helicopter was hovering above the fortress RV in the dark. A man was standing at the hatch. Startled, I immediately shouted to the system. I agree. I can earn more cores, but a flipped RV would be a disaster. The next second, a massive explosive pack fell from the sky. Fire and smoke completely swallowed the fortress RV. Even the nearby zombies were vaporized. 2 more loud explosions followed. Massive flames erupted on the highway. Billowing smoke filled the air. Inside the helicopter, Slayam is a small faction within the central sanctuary. They search for supplies and kill zombies. They are considered a decent organization. But if there is a hit job, as long as the price is right, they will take it, the pilot laughed. We had no choice. The client offered way too much. They said if we kill Valeria, they will give us a small granary. Who could refuse that? Let's kill her quickly and go back. Don't worry. A low-level metal manipulation user cannot survive the power of those explosives. The pilot smiled. Good. Record a short video of the scene. We'll head back after. The man aimed his phone downward. Suddenly, his brow furrowed. Something is wrong. On the cratered highway. Impossible. Even if she reinforced the fortress RV, it shouldn't withstand this many explosives. The man was in total disbelief. Next second, a woman appeared at the front window. She gave him the middle finger. The man's face turned white with rage. He immediately grabbed more explosives. Inside the fortress RV, I shouted at the system. System, Do you sell weapons? The system's voice sounded. Yes, but you don't have enough essence cores. Give me a powerful weapon. I need to take down that helicopter. Put the essence cores on credit for now. I will pay you back double later. Weapon shop opened. Please make your selection, host. Essence cores will be deducted automatically later. A virtual screen appeared instantly. It displayed all kinds of weapons. It looked like an arms dealer's inventory. From small pistols and grenades, to planes, tanks, and even nuclear missiles. I was overwhelmed by the choices. After filtering through them, I chose one costing 150 essence cores. The RPG Smart Tracker. I grabbed the RPG and climbed onto the Fortress RV. I locked onto the target and pressed the trigger. The rocket zoomed toward the helicopter. Danger. The pilot reacted quickly. He immediately turned the helicopter around. But it was useless. I was using the advanced RPG Smart Tracker. A massive explosion shook the sky. The helicopter blew up instantly. It was like a firework lighting up the land. Back inside, I thought about today's events. I beat up those two traitors earlier today. And tonight, someone tried to kill me. It is obvious who did this. I cannot wait to reach the survival sanctuary. I will kill those two bastards. But I still owe the system 300 essence cores. I must wait for a few days. I will buy an ability enhancement serum after I pay the debt. Then I will go to the survival sanctuary for revenge. Inside the sanctuary, the place is luxuriously decorated. This is the SlayM HQ. A man lies on the sofa, eating fresh food and drinking wine. He is Darius, the founder of SlayM. A man runs in hurriedly. Boss, there is news. Did you slay her? The man replies in fear. Boss. Darius flinches while drinking his wine. The wine goes up his nose. After learning the truth, the boss decides to send someone. He chooses the most powerful ability user in the sanctuary. Where's Vance? Send him. Take weapons. We must kill Valeria no matter what. Vance has the speed ability. He is a level 3 ability user. He is the most powerful member of SlayM. Darius paid a high price to invite him to join the organization. I do not believe this woman is capable enough to survive an assassination by a fully armed speed user. By the 4th day, I finally paid back the 300 essence cores. I have 202 cores left. I immediately opened the shop. I bought 2 ability enhancement serums. 200 essence cores disappeared from the table. 2 cylindrical, milky white glass bottles appeared. They were small and slim in my hand. The milky white liquid inside seemed to shimmer. I drank them both without hesitation. The liquid dispersed through my body. I could feel a massive surge of energy filling me. As for what level my ability will reach, I will only know after testing it. I decided to head out. I drove the Fortress RV through the suburbs. I could see billowing smoke rising over the city. In 60-degree heat, fire hazards are everywhere. And this was only the beginning. I passed by a commercial street. Most shops there sold clothes and bedding. I opened the collection box. I had gathered 5 essence cores. With the 2 left from this morning, I had 7 in total. I parked the RV and brought up the system blueprint. I used all 7 cores to upgrade the wardrobe space. I haven't hoarded much bedding or clothing yet. Since I am here, I will stock up on more. Just as I was about to get out, the glass didn't shatter, but I could feel the impact of a powerful bullet from a heavy sniper rifle. I looked out through the window. I coldly scanned every corner of the surroundings. Vance was hiding at the street corner with his sniper rifle. His eyes were wide with disbelief. No way. A sniper rifle couldn't even break the window? It shouldn't be reinforced glass. This person is definitely strange. Since that's the case, I'll have to face her head on. I'll kill her with my powers. Vance was very confident in his ability. There are very few level 3 users in the entire sanctuary. Plus, he has the rare speed ability. Vance threw his sniper rifle to the side of the road. He stood in front of the vehicle and shouted, "Come down. Let's duel." Since he's standing right in front of the car, it would be rude if I didn't do something. So I started the engine and drove toward him. But the man turned into a blur. He vanished instantly. I frowned. A speed ability user? Those are rare. I decided to get out and face him. First, I wanted his speed ability for myself. Second, I wanted to test my own strength. After drinking 2 bottles of ability enhancement serum, I stopped a short distance away from Vance. I asked indifferently, "Who sent you? When you're about to die, I'll tell you everything you want to know." A victorious smile appeared on Vance's face. He lunged forward at me. He was so fast that I couldn't even see a blur. But before his dagger could reach my throat, he felt a cold chill in his chest. He looked down to see a slender metallized arm piercing through his chest. I applied a bit of pressure. How is this possible? She is actually faster than me. Looking at his shocked face, I whispered, "Your speed is way too slow. Speak. Who sent you?" Vance gritted his teeth. He only hoped Darius would show some mercy and take care of his family. I snorted and tightened my grip. With the sound of a heart bursting, Vance lost all strength and collapsed to the ground. Looking at my blood red and metallic gleaming arm, I smiled. I have copied another new ability. Those 2 bottles of ability enhancement serum were really effective. Before leaving, I took the man's gear. An assault rifle. It should come in handy later. Then I took Snowy into a sports store. There were down jackets on clearance inside. I didn't care about the style. As long as they were my size, I put them all into my dimensional space. I didn't skip the neighboring stores either. I cleared them all out. I didn't stop until I filled 7 cubic meters. At around 5 p.m., I drove to the outskirts of the survival sanctuary. High electric fences were built around the sanctuary. There was a long line at the entrance for inspection. Otherwise, if an infected person entered the sanctuary, the entire sanctuary would be in danger. The queue was split into 2 lines. One line was for people on foot under roadside sheds. They were still drenched in sweat. Some used small fans to stay cool, but it was useless against the 60-degree heat. The other line was for vehicles. There were all kinds of cars in line. With air conditioning, they were better off than those on foot. I joined the end of the vehicle line. My modified pink Fortress RV stood out. Inside, I sipped an iced cola while driving. I moved slowly with the queue. Meanwhile, a bald man stared at the RV. His eyes were full of malice and greed. The man beside him whispered, "That RV is a real treasure." "Oomph, you think I don't know that?" "Follow her once we're inside. She's just a girl. There's no way we can't handle her." The two looked at each other. They both flashed evil smiles. 10 minutes later, a worker in a neon vest waved a yellow flag. He guided me to park the Fortress RV in a car wash. I got out of the vehicle holding Snowy. It seemed they used disinfectant in the car wash. This was to kill any zombie virus on the RV. Snowy started panting as soon as she stepped out. I secretly formed some frost in my palm. I placed it on her head to cool her down. I followed the instructions on the sign. I walked into a small glass room. The door locked automatically once I was inside. Then, disinfectant mist sprayed from all directions. After disinfecting, I followed the signs further. I entered a small room inside. The air conditioner was on. It was much cooler than outside. A woman in a hazmat suit was behind the glass counter. She was covered head to toe in white. "Roll up your sleeve," she said. "Show your arm." "Blood test." Her voice was cold. She even sounded a bit impatient. The test was to check for the zombie virus. I went through this process many times in my past life. I did as she said. She told me to wait aside for the results. It only takes a few minutes, so I sat there waiting. Snowy looked around with curiosity. Suddenly, a loud alarm went off. The woman stood up abruptly. She looked at me in horror. I felt something was wrong. This machine usually doesn't make any noise. Unless it's something major. The woman spoke in shock. "You're an ability user." Just as I thought. It could also detect ability fluctuations in the blood. I nodded calmly, but she became even more shocked. "You're a level 5 ability user. In the entire sanctuary, currently, even, level 4 ability users haven't even appeared yet, but now there's a level 5. How could she not be shocked? Ability users are ranked in 10 levels. Levels 1 to 3 are low-level users. Levels 3 to 6 are mid-level. Levels 7 to 9 are high-level. Level 10 is the max. Each level is separated by a massive gap. I'm also surprised. After drinking 2 ability enhancement serums, I'm actually a level 5 user now. Based on that, looking at the excited girl inside, I said calmly, "Can I leave now?" The girl became much more enthusiastic. "I wish you a pleasant stay at the sanctuary." Watching me walk away, her eyes were full of envy. I carried Snowy back to the vehicle. The vehicle started and entered the next room. A man in a protective suit carrying a disinfectant sprayer walked up. Vehicle inspection and disinfection. The moment he stepped onto the Fortress RV, a blast of cool air hit his face. He froze, but was even more shocked by the interior. Snacks and daily necessities were everywhere. He opened the fridge. It was full of cold sodas and chilled fruit. During the great heat wave, cold items are incredibly tempting to everyone. Holding his sprayer, he said, "Vehicle inspection complete. No problems. You may pass." I followed the directions and kept driving. There were flat parks on both sides, but the plants were all dried up and yellow. In the distance was a city of skyscrapers. But now, everything there has changed. I was just about to drive off, but I was stunned to see a familiar face in the crowd. It was the man who jumped from the helicopter. The metal manipulation user who invited me to the construction team. I got out and walked up to Marcus. "Do you need something?" I asked. Marcus looked very enthusiastic about my invitation to join the team. "Have you considered it? Free food and housing. Private dorm with AC. We'll even pay a salary." He kept rambling. Another man pushed him aside and smiled. "Join our rescue team. We'll pay you triple his offer." Word must have reached the higher-ups. They are here to recruit me. I smiled. "You should already know why I came to this base, right?" They went silent. Their eyes darted around, but no one spoke. I smiled. "If any of you help me kill Celine and Julian, I'll join your team for free." The crowd became even more silent. Putting aside Celine and Julian's status, both of their families are extremely wealthy. They helped build the sanctuary. Their elders hold high positions there. They are very influential, even without their background. One has a rare dimensional space ability, and the other has cryokinesis. No one would kill them just to recruit a level 5 user. "Kill them." Marcus leaned in and whispered, "Join my team. You can do whatever you want. I never interfere with my members' private lives." The others stared at Marcus in shock. Then they all quickly agreed. "We respect our members' privacy. We'll never interfere." I shrugged. "I'm leaving." Seeing I wouldn't change my mind, they had to step aside and let me pass. Nearby, a few men were hiding in the withered bushes of a park. They were watching the road closely. "Boss, those people don't look like ordinary citizens. What are they saying? Does that girl have backing in the sanctuary?" The bald man didn't think so. If she had backing, would she be standing in this heat for so long? Something must be going on with her RV. Those people are probably interrogating her. If I'm right, that Fortress RV is massive. It must be full of supplies. The other's eyes lit up instantly. If we take that RV, we'll have air conditioning and never go hungry again. The bald man wiped the sweat from his head. Follow them. Observe the situation and wait for a chance. Slam HQ. Darius is wearing shorts and working out. His muscles are bulging. A panicked henchman approaches him. Boss, Vance. Darius puts down the weights and wipes the sweat from his forehead. If he killed her, no need to report it to me. The henchman sees how confident he is. He whispers, Boss. Vance is dead. Darius cleans his ear, looking cold. What did you say? Say that again. The henchman is terrified. A pink RV just entered the base. It looks like our target. After checking, we found out. Vance's assassination failed. Darius's eyes turn red with rage. Vance is a level 3 speed ability user. How could he be killed by a woman? The henchman shrinks back and continues. Boss, according to the base blood tests, the target is a level 5 ability user. Darius slumps onto the sofa. I didn't expect Slam's first contract to be this difficult. The henchman asks tentatively. Boss, do we still kill her? Darius grinds his teeth. Kill her. We must. Send someone to watch her first. Don't act rashly. Wait for the perfect moment for a fatal blow. This isn't just about the contract anymore. It has become a personal vendetta. Darius grew angrier the more he thought about it. He stood up and walked out. His lackey followed closely behind him. Boss, where are you going? Damn it. The client gave us false information. They caused us heavy losses. I'm going to settle the score. Meanwhile, inside the sanctuary hospital, Celine was throwing a tantrum in her private room. How can she be a level 5 ability user? That's impossible. She was only level 3 during our last fight. I had knocked out several of Celine's teeth. Her speech was slurred and whistling, yet she continued to curse, unable to accept the truth. She couldn't stand the fact that I was stronger than her. She hissed viciously to herself. So what if she is level 5? I have plenty of ways to kill her. I parked the Fortress RV by the road in front of the registration hall. Everyone who moves into the sanctuary must come here to collect a new ID card. Stepping out of the vehicle, I used my cryokinesis. A layer of frost formed around me to dispel the intense heat. It was boiling inside the hall. Everyone in line was drenched in sweat. The entire hall reeked of body odor. 10 minutes later, I handed over my ID card. I don't need housing. Just give me a shaded parking space. Soon, the staff handed me the completed sanctuary residence permit. Seed Base, Seaside District. Lakeview Estate, parking spot 809. It was already dark when I arrived. The estate was built next to a park. There was a large lake inside the park. The overall environment was quite good. I parked the Fortress RV in the spot. The parking space was very wide. There was even an awning installed above it. In a dark corner nearby, the bald man who had been following me spoke. We can rob her. The lackey beside him looked confused. You know nothing. It's clear she has no backing and no abilities. People with backing wouldn't live in assigned housing. And people with abilities would never live here. The other men got excited hearing this. Ha ha ha, boss. When do we strike? The bald man peered toward the Fortress RV. Inside the RV, Snowy and I finished eating but didn't go to sleep. Instead, we curled up on the sofa playing video games. Before we knew it, it was already 1 a.m. By now, the men crouching in the corner were hot and exhausted. One man said weakly, Why isn't she sleeping yet? Let's just do it. She's all alone anyway. The bald man wiped the sweat from his forehead. Fine. They grabbed their tools and walked toward the Fortress RV. Just then, the lights inside the RV went out. The bald man was thrilled. Finally, she's going to sleep. Luck is on our side. But they soon discovered, no matter how much force they used, they couldn't pry the door open at all. The bald man got angry. He swung a sledgehammer and smashed it against the glass. But the glass didn't break. Boss. The bald man was speechless at his lackey's doubt. He had used every bit of his strength. What kind of glass is this? It's so strong. Boss, you're not strong enough. A muscular man picked up the sledgehammer. He slammed it against the glass with all his might. He was thrown back even further than the bald man. He sat on the ground in shock. Even bulletproof glass isn't this tough. Another lackey said, Why don't we try a different window? They went around the Fortress RV and kept smashing. They were all exhausted. But not a single scratch was left on the vehicle. The bald man cursed. What is this RV made of? It must be more than bulletproof. Just then, bricks were slammed hard, right onto their heads. The bald man and his crew collapsed instantly. They didn't even realize what happened. Inside the RV, Valeria was stunned as she watched. She wanted to go out and check, but the shadows quickly disappeared. Early the next morning, I started the Fortress RV to hunt zombies for essence cores. But 3 familiar faces suddenly rushed in front of the RV. It was Raven, Skip, and Dante. Before I could speak, Raven shouted anxiously, Boss, please save us, boss. I remained silent with a cold expression. What does your life have to do with me? Raven looked panicked by my coldness. Boss, we have a mission. All the loot will be yours. Loot? I asked, raising an eyebrow. What mission? To rescue a water element user at Central People's Hospital. The higher-ups gave us a strict order. We must bring them back. But that's Central Hospital. There are too many zombies to count. It is a suicide mission for us. Can you come with us? The hospital supplies are yours as long as we get the survivor. Skip and Dante looked at me hopefully. Central Hospital is the best hospital in the Seaside District. It has a massive stock of medicine and the most advanced medical equipment. I must take those resources for myself. Plus, I can use my mimicry ability to copy a new water element. I immediately asked, are we leaving now? Inside a hospital ward, Celine answered her phone. Did they leave the sanctuary? She sneered after getting the answer. Valeria, you won't make it back alive this time. Next, Julian was stunned by her words. His impatient look vanished instantly. He replaced it with an eager expression. Baby, what ability did you awaken? Precognition, Celine replied coldly. She showed no emotion, for only she knew the truth. She hadn't actually awakened an ability. She had traveled back from 10 years into the apocalypse. She knew every natural disaster that would happen in the next decade, and all the major events. It was simply the reality of her rebirth. Julian leaned in with high expectations. Can you predict what will happen next? Celine spoke calmly. In 10 days, the largest power station in Seaside District will catch fire. The city will lose all power and internet. During the Great Heat Wave, there will be constant fires everywhere. The Great Heat Wave will end in 2 months. Then, the acid rain will begin. The acid rain is highly corrosive. The soil will be destroyed, making farming impossible for years. After the acid rain, Seaside District will face a tsunami. Then, the temperature will plummet, entering a frozen apocalypse. Julian's heart sank. Then, will the apocalypse ever end? Celine's gaze wavered. I don't know. It ends if someone breaks the cycle. Otherwise, it may never end. When I'm discharged, I'll have my father put me in the core research group. Maybe that's the only way to break the cycle. Celine has seen and learned a lot in 10 years of the apocalypse. She shared some of her insights. Meanwhile, I was heading to Central People's Hospital in the Seaside District. I passed the gas station on the way. I drove inside to check it out. Luckily, there was still fuel left in the tanks. Fuel will become extremely rare in the future. That's why I check every station I find. I took out my last 34 essence cores. I expanded the diesel and gasoline tanks by 17 cubic meters each. After filling them up, I continued my journey. I drove wherever the zombies were most crowded. I need more essence cores to expand my storage space. I need to stock up on medical equipment and medicine at the hospital. An hour later, I checked the core collection box. I had collected 63 essence cores. I pulled up the Fortress RV's holographic blueprint. I used all 63 cores to upgrade the medicine cabinet. Just then, Raven called me. Boss, we've finished the task. We're waiting at the designated location. The hospital area is swarming with zombies. My Fortress RV couldn't handle it alone, so I had given Raven and the others a mission. I told them to find 3 vehicles to assist me. 10 minutes later, I reached the meeting point. I saw 3 vehicles parked ahead. 2 were tracked obstacle removers. They were reinforced with heavy steel plates. Long metal spikes were welded onto the steel plates. They were also equipped with a giant claw. Dante enthusiastically introduced them to me. They were specially designed for this mission. They can resist zombies and clear the road. There was also a large truck. Steel plates were welded around its body and wheels. It looked like a real doomsday war machine. I took out the walkie-talkies I had prepared. Everyone received one. The truck was placed in the middle. Everyone got into their vehicles. The small convoy drove onto the road. Dante took the lead. He spoke over the walkie-talkie. Are we going straight to Central Hospital? I replied, yes. If zombies rush us, crush them flat. Don't stop. The 2 obstacle removers used their metal claws to move the abandoned vehicles blocking the road. Raven and I followed behind them. The road became more congested as we went deeper. Many zombies heard the roar of the engines. They all began to swarm toward us. Their numbers grew. Raven shouted over the walkie-talkie. Just as she finished, I stood outside the car as ice spikes formed around me. Dozens of finger-thick ice spikes shot out. They instantly took down a large group of zombies. Then I took a small seed out of my pocket. 2 branches sprouted under my ability's power. I controlled the flexible branches. As zombies rushed over, I whipped the branches around their necks. With a quick pull, their heads were ripped from their bodies. Raven was completely stunned. Dimensional space, cryokinesis, wood element. She actually has 4 different abilities. Suddenly, the ground began to surge. It tossed groups of zombies aside like a wave. Then it turned into an earth wall to block the zombies. Earth element. Just how many abilities does Valeria have? Looking at the wall, Raven was truly terrified of her power. By 3 p.m., we finally pushed into the central area. There were massive amounts of zombies here. They were packed so tightly together. The windows were completely blocked by them. I couldn't see the road ahead at all. The 4 vehicles were cars are completely surrounded by zombies and cannot move. Dante asks for help in the group chat. Sis, what should we do next? They can't get through. Raven and Skip are helpless against the situation. Only one person can solve this crisis. Then my voice comes through the radio. Get out of the way. I'll take the lead. All 3 respond through their walkie-talkies. They act immediately. Raven uses her vines as wipers. She knocks the zombies off the hood. Skip uses his earth element to shake the ground. He shakes the zombies off the tow truck. Dante uses his electrokinesis to summon lightning. He strikes the zombies in front of the windows. The 3 use their powers to clear a narrow path. But the road ahead is still packed with zombies and abandoned vehicles. Skip asks, Sis, how should we cooperate now? I don't answer and floor the gas toward the swarm. Then, a shocking scene unfolds. Vines on the Fortress RV surge forward like a nest of snakes. At the moment of contact, The cars blocking the road vanish into my dimensional space. The vines then sweep the zombies to the sides of the road. I drive the Fortress RV through the gap. I tell the others to follow me over the radio. The three of them finally snap out of it. They quickly start their vehicles. They follow closely behind the Fortress RV. That was amazing. You're incredible, boss. The three of them shout excitedly over the radio. Actually, I just discovered this myself. My strength doesn't just come from the mimicry ability. It is the ability to use multiple powers at once. The convoy moves forward slowly and steadily. Just as my energy is about to run out, we finally reach the edge of the hospital. I look at the sign for Central People's Hospital with a grim expression. It's not just zombies waiting for me inside. There might be people too. The trip here was far too quiet. I don't believe Celine would ever pass up such a perfect chance to kill me. I take the essence cores out of the collection box. There is nearly half a shopping basket of them. A huge harvest. I sit on the sofa and open the shop. First, I buy 2 bottles of Ability Enhancement Serum. I still have 736 essence cores left. I pull up the Fortress RV schematic. I use them all to upgrade the medical cabinet space. I fought hard to get in here. Otherwise, everything will be ruined by the tsunami in 2 months. Move out, I command over the radio. The vehicles accelerate at full speed. They follow closely as I smash through the gate. We head straight for the hospital parking lot. The situation here is just as I expected. It doesn't look good. The parking lot is swarming with zombies. There are so many, it looks like a crowded market. Hearing the noise, they all begin to swarm toward us. The RVs are instantly swallowed by the zombie swarm. We can't shake them off, Dante says in shock. We'll be overwhelmed the moment we step out. Save people? Forget it. Raven complains. I knew this mission would be dangerous. We were fools to come here. Skip says in a low voice. With their low-level abilities, they are no match for this many zombies. Stepping out would be a death sentence. Suddenly, the RV's loudspeaker blares. Water element user waiting for rescue. Signal us which building you are in if possible. Raven is startled by the announcement. As expected, more zombies pour out from every direction. They all begin to crowd toward the sound. Meanwhile, inside the clinic wing, Cyrus hears the loudspeaker outside. He is completely stunned. Who is that? He looks out the window to see what is happening. He sees the chaos down below. Everyone is filled with terror. Didn't the sanctuary say they were sending a rescue team? It can't just be those few cars, right? They're surrounded themselves. How can they save us? Cyrus is the water element user. He contacted the sanctuary and expected a helicopter rescue. Everyone's heart sinks to the bottom. They feel like there is no hope left for them. Our chances of survival have dropped to 0. Cyrus thought for a moment and made a decision. I'll give them a signal. They must be capable if they manage to drive in here. He used his ability to form a ball of water. It splashed loudly onto my car roof. Receiving the signal, I gave orders through the walkie-talkie. Stay close. Prepare to break out. I started the car. Hundreds of vines lashed out wildly. They cleared the zombies in front of the car. We reached the clinic wing. I ordered the squad to stop. Get ready to work. Raven was about to cry. We can't fight our way out. Even if we stop here, we can't handle this many zombies. We don't have the strength to enter the building. I chuckled and instantly released my electrokinesis. Countless bolts of lightning struck down. Within 50 meters, all the zombies were smoked and collapsed to the ground. Holy crap, Dante was speechless. Is Valeria's electrokinesis really this powerful? Compared to this, his little sparks were nothing. Raven was stunned, while the three were in shock. I controlled the vines to scale the building wall. They grew upward rapidly. I quickly grabbed a vine and climbed up. I told them to hurry and follow me. They didn't dare to waste any time. They climbed the vines all the way to a 10th floor window. The survivors were stunned to see us appear. Cyrus was right. They really are capable. But the problem now is how to get down. This floor is very high, even if we had the courage to jump. The zombies are waiting for us below. Cyrus stared at me and asked, "Are you a dual element user?" Raven and the others remained silent. I looked at the ID badge on his chest. I didn't expect him to be an attending physician at such a young age. Do you know how many survivors are in the hospital? Cyrus said solemnly. We have an internal group and did a count earlier. There are about 3,000 survivors in the hospital buildings. I turned to Raven. Contact the survival sanctuary and report the situation. Tell them to send a helicopter. The anxious survivors were suddenly filled with hope when they heard about a helicopter. Raven looked hesitant. Sis, we tried to request one before the mission. We couldn't even get one helicopter then. They probably still won't give us one now. I was speechless. I didn't say we would take everyone back. Just take Cyrus and complete the mission. Raven was shocked. Sis, that's not right. Are we just going to ignore the other 3,000 survivors? I cleared my throat and said, how many people can these few cars even carry? Just report the news. Whether to save them is up to the sanctuary. Why are you worrying about this? Raven thought I made sense. She immediately called the sanctuary. Meanwhile, I questioned Cyrus. Cyrus thought for a moment. The first floor of this building is the pharmacy. Floors 2 to 4 are consultation rooms. The 5th floor is for Chinese medicine and the herbal pharmacy. Floors 6 to 12 are all examination rooms and laboratories. Some expensive medical equipment is in the inpatient wing. The operating rooms are also in the inpatient wing. Other buildings have radiology equipment as well. When Cyrus heard my questions, he knew I was here to gather supplies. He explained everything he knew in great detail. I nodded. Come with us. We will go to the 12th floor first. Then we will kill our way down, floor by floor. Before the zombie outbreak, I hid in my modified Fortress RV with my cat. I had stocked the RV with a massive amount of supplies. In this life, I will survive until the very end. Cyrus was stunned. Kill our way down. There were many patients in this building. The corridors are crawling with zombies. They will be hard to handle. Dante smiled and said, "Buddy, trust her. If she says it can be done, then it can." Cyrus looked at Dante as if he were insane. He stared at him with total disbelief. He didn't understand why they trusted me so much. Raven hung up the phone and walked over. The captain said they will send a helicopter. But we must gather all survivors on the rooftop. Dante cursed out loud. Damn it. How can thousands of people get past the zombies to the roof? After complaining, the three of them all looked at me. Their eyes were filled with both despair and hope. I shrugged. We have to clear the floors anyway. The three of them were instantly excited. I knew we could count on you, sis. You really are the best. Cyrus and the other survivors were stunned. No wonder these men were so obedient. They had found a powerful person to rely on. I went to the window and climbed the vines toward the roof. Cyrus knew it was dangerous outside. He immediately got cold feet. He refused to go, but Dante glared at him gloomily. Cyrus looked at everyone. He realized he couldn't escape this. He followed and gripped the vines tightly. But being 10 floors up was terrifying. Cyrus felt dizzy and broke into a cold sweat. After reaching the roof safely, I used metallic hardening on my arm. I smashed the iron gate blocking the stairwell. Cyrus was amazed. Could she be the legendary penta-elemental? She is so powerful. We entered the building. The heavy, shuffling footsteps of zombies were getting closer. There were many of them. I led the way while the four followed closely. Everyone activated their own unique abilities. Without stopping, we rushed straight to the first floor. But zombies from outside kept pouring in. The four couldn't hold them back. Seeing this, I crouched and pressed my palms to the ground. Energy surged instantly. The ground rose to form earth walls, blocking every entrance. The zombies were completely sealed outside. Then, I activated my electrokinesis. With every dense strike of lightning, a large group of zombies collapsed. Most of the zombies in the lobby were quickly cleared. Cyrus muttered. So this is what it feels like to be carried by a pro. It really is great. The four cleared the remaining zombies. They rushed into the rooms, looking for any important supplies to take. I entered the pharmacy. I collected every medicine I passed into my dimensional space. Behind the pharmacy, there was a cold storage room. It was filled with various medical injections, antidotes and vaccines. I didn't leave a single one behind. I put them all in my space. Sister, there is a laboratory here with all kinds of equipment. Should we take it? Raven's voice came from the next room. I went to take a look and sent my vines out. In the blink of an eye, the laboratory was completely empty. Just then, Cyrus shouted from the hallway. The zombies outside have been cleared. If there are survivors, come out now. Go to the rooftop and wait for the helicopter rescue. As his voice echoed through the hallway, two tightly closed doors were slowly opened. A few heads peeked out from the gaps. After a moment, 5 people walked out. Their faces were pale and their bodies were weak. They had been starving for over 2 weeks, surviving only on glucose. Dr. Cyrus, is there really a helicopter coming to save us? A man in blue overalls asked. He appeared to be a staff member here. Cyrus nodded. The sanctuary said they would send a helicopter. Go wait on the rooftop. They looked at the corridor filled with zombie corpses and turned pale with fear. They stood by the doors, not daring to move. A girl in a nurse uniform said with a sob, Dr. Cyrus. I glanced at them and said coldly, if you're too scared to go, then stay here and die. It's the apocalypse. Stop being so dramatic. Meanwhile, from a window in the inpatient wing, several pairs of eyes were watching us. One of them was holding binoculars. The information was wrong. Valeria is not just a metal manipulation user. I also saw wood element, electrokinesis, and dimensional space ability. No wonder she could kill Vance. They grew more uneasy the more they thought about it. Her strength is terrifying. But Darius had already given them a mission. She must die today. He gave them a detailed plan. Disguise as survivors and ambush Valeria during the rescue. If the ambush fails, jump out the window immediately. A wood element user will catch them below. Plan B. Snipers will target Valeria. If that fails, start Plan C. 3 ability users waiting next door will intercept and kill her. If Plan C also fails, everyone retreat and start Plan D. Detonate the pre-planted bombs. Blow up the entire building. So what if she has many abilities? Even a god would be lucky to survive this. I don't believe she can stay alive. Meanwhile, we finished clearing the clinic wing. The survivors went to the roof to wait for rescue. Raven asked me, where are we going next? I looked at the building opposite and said coldly, the inpatient wing. There might be a surprise there besides supplies. Cyrus frowned. It's full of patients, families, and staff. Raven agreed. Clearing the inpatient wing might be too much for us right now. I took out 2 ability enhancement serums and chuckled. With these, before the zombie outbreak, my cat and I hid inside a modified Fortress RV. I had stored a massive amount of supplies in the RV. In this life, I will survive until the very end. I summoned vines that reached the inpatient wing's rooftop. I built a bridge made of vines in midair. I led the way, and the others followed. Cyrus slowly crouched down. He crawled across the bridge bit by bit. Seeing how cowardly he was, Dante teased him. Does your girlfriend know you're such a coward? Cyrus stubbornly replied. It's full of zombies below. Falling means certain death. It's normal to be scared, okay? After reaching the other side, I broke through the rooftop iron gate. Just as we reached the 12th floor, crowds of zombies in hospital gowns swarmed us. I activated my electrokinesis. Lightning struck the nearby zombies dead. Then, I fired a barrage of ice spikes. In an instant, a third of the zombies in the hallway were dead. My vines then reached into every room. I stored all useful items into my dimensional space. We fought our way down to the 5th floor. This is the surgery floor, with more medical equipment than the wards. I opened an operating room door. The 3 survivors hiding inside were terrified. They scrambled into the corner. They realized it was a living person at the door. They all breathed a sigh of relief. Dante spoke up. The zombies upstairs have been cleared. Go wait on the roof. A helicopter will take you to the survival sanctuary soon. By the time we reached the 3rd floor, Raven was amazed. Our level 5 ability users always this enduring. We've cleared 2 buildings already. I don't see her power weakening at all. Just then, an operating room door opened. A middle-aged man in a t-shirt and shorts peered out from the gap in the door. Raven didn't pay much attention. She told him to hurry to the roof for the helicopter. The man scanned the group. He pointed rudely at me as I collected supplies and essence cores. I'm scared. I want her to escort me up. Raven frowned at the man. This was the first time she met someone so entitled. She snapped at him immediately. Go or don't. Stay here and die for all I care. Who do you think you are? The survivors looked at each other and said, this room has the most expensive surgical equipment. If you don't take us to the roof, we'll smash it. Dante walked over, furious. Go ahead, try it. I'll beat you so hard your mother won't recognize you. They raised their chairs and shouted. If you don't let that woman take us to the roof, we won't let go. Meanwhile, my cold voice rang out. If even one wire on this machine is broken. The men saw me approaching. They fearfully put down the things in their hands. One of them said weakly, we didn't. Seeing the arrogant thugs suddenly behave, Dante muttered to himself. Idiots like these need her to deal with them. The next second, the man in front suddenly pulled out a gun and aimed it at me. At that moment, she can't die. In the nick of time, I used my speed ability to dodge the line of fire. But then, Dante stepped in front of me. I pushed my speed ability to the limit, trying to pull Dante away, but the bullet was too fast. It was too late. The bullet hit Dante in the chest. Dante collapsed to the ground. Seeing their failure, the men tried to jump out the window to escape. Furious, I fired ice spikes at their heads. Thud. They stopped moving. Dante lay weak on the ground. My voice trembled with suppressed rage. Are you stupid? Why did you take a bullet for me? After living through 2 apocalypses, I never thought anyone would risk their life for me. Dante gave a pained smile. Valeria, I told you, without you. Don't talk about dying, I snapped. The fact that you can still talk means it didn't hit anything vital. I told Raven and skipped to put him on the operating table. Then I ran to find Cyrus. When Cyrus saw Dante's condition, he felt a chill run down his spine. Such a deep wound. If it got infected, he didn't dare think about it. Prepare for surgery. Disinfectant. Bandages and surgical tools. I need everything. Raven stepped forward quickly to assist Cyrus. I took the ability enhancement serum from my pocket. Just then, I suddenly turned toward the window. Several bullets were flying toward us at high speed. I immediately used metal manipulation. A metal shield instantly blocked the window. It's dangerous outside. Stay here and don't leave. I closed the door and left quickly. In the hallway, 3 ability users charged toward me. They attacked with metal blades, ice blades, and fireballs. While blocking with my metal shield, I sent vines toward the 3 of them. They realized they were in trouble. In an instant, I used my speed ability to close the gap. I slashed their throats with my ice blades. They died with looks of pure disbelief. How is this possible? Her energy isn't depleted yet. More importantly, how does she have a speed ability? Hello? Hello? What's the situation over there? Do you copy? I followed the sound and pulled a phone from the dead man's pocket. The person on the other end was still shouting. Give me a signal, Easton. I hung up and checked the chat history. Slam organization. It was them. I lived at the seed base in my previous life. I've heard of this organization. It's full of powerful people. They are quite influential. Celine must have hired them to kill me. So she used the Slam organization to do her dirty work. Since they crossed me, none of them will have it easy. I dropped the phone. But then I looked into the operating room next door. Red numbers were flashing inside. My heart skipped a beat. Half the room was filled with time bombs. The timer was counting down. 8, 7, 6. If these explosives go off, the entire building will be destroyed. My friends next door won't survive. Not a single survivor here will make it out alive. I desperately pushed my wood element to the limit. Countless vines surged out and wrapped around the bombs. Inside a room in the laboratory wing, Darius was panicking because he hadn't received a response. The sniper beside him spoke. We had a plan. If they were alive, they would have given us a signal. They are likely dead. Darius frowned at the news. He couldn't understand it. How could a level 5 woman be so hard to kill? Boss, what do we do now? The sniper asked anxiously. Darius gritted his teeth and spoke. Forget it. Just before the outbreak, I hid in a modified fortress RV with my cat. It was stocked with plenty of supplies. In this life, I will survive until the end. The sniper grabbed the detonator. He pressed it with a look of rage. But something strange happened. A massive explosion rang out. However, the impatient wing was unharmed. Darius felt a sudden sense of dread. He leaned out the window to look down. The explosion had gone off in the parking lot. Thick smoke rose as the zombies burned. Darius felt a chill down his spine. His sixth sense told him to retreat now. If he stayed, he would die. He looked at the parking lot again. What he saw terrified him. From the roaring flames, a figure with a metallic luster emerged. Her bright eyes were staring directly at him. Darius gasped in horror. Go. Move. This woman is terrifying. We can never provoke her again. Darius and his followers fled to the rooftop. They prepared to leave in a helicopter. Looking at my metallic body, I felt satisfied. None of these bastards will escape. I opened an ability enhancement serum. I drank it and jumped to grab a vine. I quickly climbed up. When I appeared on the rooftop, he immediately chickened out. Celine hired us to kill you. If you want revenge, go find Celine. We were just doing it for the money. A bloodthirsty smile curled on my lips. My eyes were filled with killing intent. Darius saw things were bad and changed his tone. To compensate for the trouble we caused. Just name your price. I'll give you anything, I said coldly. I have principles. Those who provoke me must die. I don't care about supplies. Darius fell to his knees in terror. His henchmen also knelt behind him. Their faces were pale with fear. Darius screamed in panic. The whole organization is yours. You be the boss. I'll be your underling. I stared at them coldly. Only your deaths can satisfy me. Darius turned desperate and fierce. He signaled his men with a look. They prepared to strike back, but felt a sudden chill. Looking down, they saw metal rods piercing through their chests. Darius fell to the ground, staring at me in terror. He died with his eyes wide open. The rescue helicopter saw the situation below. It immediately turned around to escape. I melted and reshaped the metal rod. It became a long, sharp spear. I aimed at the rotor and threw it with force. The spear jammed the rotor, and the helicopter stalled. It wobbled and crashed toward the ground. The survivors on the rooftop were in total shock. On the other side, 5 helicopters flew over from the sanctuary to help. Julian was sitting inside one of them. He felt nothing but shock and fear. No one thought Valeria could survive. Being hunted by the Slam organization. But not only is she alive, she wiped out the entire organization. Looking at her lonely figure on the rooftop, his heart raced with excitement. His admiration for her grew even stronger. What? Still can't forget your ex-girlfriend? Celine's voice was cold and mocking. Regarding Valeria's counterattack, she seemed to have expected it. She remained as calm as an outsider. Julian frowned. You want Valeria dead that badly? Now she's not only alive but strong enough to wipe out Slam HQ. Aren't you angry? Celine remained perfectly calm. The helicopter slowly descended. She didn't bother answering Julian's question. Julian ran his hand through his hair in frustration. Since the apocalypse began, both sisters' personalities had completely changed. It was impossible to read them. They used to compete for his affection. Now, they both treated him with total indifference. This realization annoyed him greatly. The helicopter landed on the roof of the laboratory wing. The propellers kicked up a fierce wind. I clenched my fists as I watched the two of them step out. Slam HQ was already finished. As I prepared to strike, Julian spoke up eagerly. Valeria, are you hurt? Are you okay? You and your sister shouldn't let a small spat go too far. Don't let things get out of hand because of me. Hearing this, the energy inside me surged with my rage. I didn't want this man to live for another second. As I began forming ice spikes to kill him, a gunshot suddenly rang out across the roof. I watched as Julian went limp and collapsed to the ground. Celine stood there, slowly holstering her pistol. Her eyes were filled with coldness and disgust. What just happened? I was so shocked that I couldn't speak. I looked at Celine, my heart skipping a beat in surprise. Celine's aura was now completely different. She seemed weathered and steady. And indifferent. You've been reborn. I'm certain now. The Celine in front of me is definitely not in a state she should be in at this time. Celine put away her pistol and smiled. Long time no see. You have no idea how much I've missed you all these years. Valeria had died 3 years into the apocalypse. But Celine had returned from 10 years into the apocalypse. She wasn't lying. The more she saw the truth of the end times, the more she missed Valeria. Celine had regretted her past actions countless times. I stared at her and frowned. I tried to see through her. In the previous life, those two were inseparable. What could make her kill her own husband the moment she had the chance? Celine looked at the corpse on the ground with disgust. Unfaithful and selfish trash. Living was just a waste of food. Human survival was extremely difficult in the late stages of the apocalypse. They had left the seed base for various reasons. They then built their own sanctuary. Celine had supported Julian to become the leader, who knew that once he had power, he would cheat constantly, even during a life-and-death battle. He used her as a human shield. After Celine was reborn, the thing she wanted most was to kill Julian. But it was never convenient to do it inside the sanctuary. She didn't join this rescue mission to settle scores with Valeria, but to settle an old score with Julian. After Celine was reborn, the one thing she wanted most was to kill Julian. It was just never convenient to do it inside the sanctuary. She didn't join this rescue mission to settle scores with Valeria. She was there for Julian. How much longer will this apocalypse last? Celine spoke with a complex expression. And you have already entered the eye of the storm. A conspiracy. I demanded an answer, but just as Celine was about to speak, a giant ice pillar suddenly pierced through her body. Who did this? Blood splattered all over me. Celine struggled to look at me one last time. It's up to you now. I watched as her eyes slowly closed. Everything happened too fast. Who killed Celine? And who is watching us right now? My mind was racing with questions. I originally just wanted to survive the apocalypse using the system, but it seems that's no longer possible. I have to find the truth. I have to break this cycle. The other helicopters waited, but there was no sign of Julian's rescue helicopter. So they turned back to investigate. As soon as the rescue captain stepped off his helicopter, he saw the two corpses lying on the ground. His head started spinning. They were fine just a moment ago. How did both of these VIPs end up dead? How was he going to explain this when he got back? I returned to the third floor of the inpatient wing. I wonder how Dante is doing now. Just then, sensing my low mood, she asked with concern. Sis, what's wrong? I forced a weak smile. The bullet in his body has been removed. So far, there are no signs of mutation. Then, Cyrus walked over as well. He should wake up once the anesthesia wears off. Ability users have strong physiques. They recover much faster. Looking at the group before me, after a moment of thought, I said, I'm going to form an ability squad. I want to invite you to join. They were shocked by my words. They immediately agreed to join. They had to stick close to such a powerful ally. Good. Also, let me tell you some good news. Celine and Julian are dead. Inside the sanctuary, Julian's father and Arthur wailed over the two corpses. They couldn't believe what they were seeing. They were perfectly fine when they left the sanctuary. Now they were suddenly gone. No one could accept it. Julian's father glared coldly at the rescue captain. What happened? If you can't explain, I'll kill you right now. The rescue captain replied with a trembling voice. I only saw Valeria with them at the time. I don't know the exact details. Julian's father turned a fierce gaze toward Arthur. You must give me a satisfactory explanation. We are currently on our way back to the survival sanctuary. We killed zombies and collected essence cores along the way. With everyone's agreement, we named our team the Dawn Squad. Dante has mostly recovered now. He wanted to see if his injuries had any lasting effects. He used his electrokinesis on the zombies outside. After one move, Dante was stunned. He looked at his hands in disbelief. No way, no way, no way. Given his previous ability level, killing 20 zombies was his limit. But now, he had killed at least 200. Raven gasped in surprise. Did you do that? In their minds, only I was capable of such power. Dante even began to doubt himself. He used his power again and wiped out another large group. I didn't expect my power to skyrocket after being seriously injured. I stood there, speechless. It was the ability enhancement serum I gave him that worked. Raven, still unaware, looked on with envy. Next time, stay away. I want to take the hit, so my power grows too. I gritted my teeth. Where there is one idiot, there is always another. What kind of teammates did I pick? After a long silence, I finally spoke. I have a serum that can enhance abilities. Dante's power grew because while he was injured, I gave him a dose. Everyone was completely shocked. So that's what happened. Cyrus asked with excitement. Has the sanctuary already developed a serum that enhances abilities? He thought it was a breakthrough, achieved by the sanctuary's researchers. I shook my head and looked at them. The sanctuary didn't develop this. Only I have it, and only you know about it. Their minds began to race in shock. Something this powerful must be kept secret. If others find out, there will be constant trouble. Raven hesitated. Could this serum? I knew what she was thinking. She wanted to ask if I would sell it, but she was too embarrassed to ask. I have two types of serums. One restores your energy to its peak instantly. That's 100 essence cores. The other is the enhancement serum. That one is 200 essence cores. You can buy them if you have the cores. Even though I doubled the price, it's still so cheap for something this powerful. Dante asked excitedly, how many do I need to become a level 5 user? According to my tests, you only need 2 doses. Wow. Only 400 cores to become a powerful level 5 ability user. You zombies. I'll fight you to the death. Dante strikes down waves of zombies one after another. Then Raven releases vines to pierce the zombies' heads. She pulls out the essence cores. The two of them work well together. Skip and Cyrus's abilities are not offensive. They watch the piles of zombies outside helplessly. Both are scratching their heads in frustration. The convoy slowly leaves the central area. They get closer to the survival sanctuary. Raven frowns. We've only been away for a few days. Why is there a wall around the sanctuary? Dante cranes his neck to see. It's even made of metal. How extravagant. What is this sanctuary planning? Getting closer, they see the metal wall curves inward. There are metal manipulation users on top of the wall. They are constantly making the wall taller. I frown. It seems Celine has already told the sanctuary everything that will happen in the future, based on the events of my past life. The acid rain is highly corrosive. It will catch everyone off guard. With Celine's warning, the sanctuary should be preparing early to resist future natural disasters. So, this isn't just a wall. It is the sky shield. On the eve of the outbreak, my cat and I hid in a carefully modified fortress RV. The RV was stocked with supplies I had stored in advance. In this life, I will survive until the very end. As soon as the car entered the sanctuary, a crowd of people immediately surrounded it. Marcus and his group blocked the path. Their mouths were moving, saying something. I don't need to hear them to know what they want. They just want to recruit me. Marcus shouted, "Boss, join my construction team, and I'll give you 8 male models." Everyone else stared at him with looks of disgust. How can a person have no shame like this? Milo looked at Marcus with disdain. How can you act like that? Where's your conscience? Boss, I'll give you 10. Everyone fell silent. They had no shame when it came to recruiting a boss. Marcus didn't back down. Right now, all the metal manipulation users are working overtime to build the Sky Shield. This is about the safety of the entire sanctuary. Valeria must join our construction team. Now is the critical time for gathering supplies. Valeria's dimensional space ability is precious. She should join our supply collection team. Seeing them start bickering again, I finally spoke. Everyone went silent instantly. I want to be the sanctuary leader. Everyone shook their heads in unison. No way. I pursed my lips. Then I want all the essence cores in the sanctuary. Everyone stared in shock with their mouths wide open. That's impossible, boss. I shrugged. You say no to everything. You have no sincerity at all. Marcus got anxious. You said you'd join a team after Celine was dead. Now she's dead. Please reconsider. I corrected him. I said whoever kills Celine and Julian for me is whose team I will join. So, which of you killed them? Everyone was silent. Milo whispered. Then do you know who killed them? I don't know. Bullshit. You killed her. Give me back my daughter's life. A hysterical scream came from behind. Everyone turned around. Valerie was standing nearby. Arthur jumped out of the car to stop her, but he was too late. A bullet was fired. Everyone activated their abilities. Marcus used his metal manipulation. He tried to block the shot for Valeria, but there were no speed ability users present. At that bullet's speed, they could only protect themselves. There was no time to save me. Clang, my outstretched left hand glinted with metallic hardening. The bullet was caught in my hand. Marcus breathed a sigh of relief and tapped his head. She is an octa-elemental level 5, after all. Just as everyone breathed a sigh of relief, they saw a pistol in my hand. No, I had already pulled the trigger. The bullet flew out and hit Valerie right between the eyes. This time, no one could stop the bullet. Valerie's eyes widened. She fell straight back. Arthur rushed forward to catch her. She was already dead. He turned and glared at me fiercely. If I knew you were this wicked, I should have strangled you the moment you were born. My killing intent did not fade. Arthur was startled, his heart skipping a beat. His face turned deathly pale. Are you going to kill your own father too? At that moment, he felt his blood run cold. I had dared to kill Valerie in broad daylight. Seeing the situation, Marcus and the others quickly pushed my gun down. The first shot could be called self-defense, but you really can't kill him now. I put away the pistol and snorted. First, I didn't kill Celine and Julian. Second, didn't you see your mistress try to shoot me first? And finally, why bring up being my father now? Since when did you care about that? Arthur's face turned red and white with shame and anger. Valerie was your mother. How could you do this to her? Do you have no humanity? Besides, you are an ability user. Valerie couldn't have killed you anyway. Doing this is wicked. You have no humanity. You were the only one there when Celine died. If you didn't kill her, then who did? How did I raise a monster like you? I clenched my metallic hardening fists. I used blink to appear right in front of Arthur. I had reached my limit. Asterisk thud, thud, thud. Asterisk the sounds of heavy blows rang out. After just a few punches, Arthur was swollen like a pig and passed out. I stopped and looked coldly at the crowd. Everyone was stunned. Then just pay a fine. I casually threw him some solid gold jewelry. The head of the security department quickly caught it. Please, take care, boss. Marcus saw me leaving and refused to give up. The others followed behind as well. I looked at them and said coldly, I will not join any department. I have formed my own squad. Raven and the water element user I saved are now members of my squad. If your sanctuary can tolerate us, that's fine. If not, we will just go to another base. In short, do not bother me. Wait. Even if we can't be teammates, we can still be friends. Since we're friends, is the offer for the 8 male models still on? I cleared my throat and looked serious. Of course, I'll arrange it for you immediately, boss. Marcus was quick to react. It was an honor for him to get on her good side. I waved my hand. Keep the male models for yourself. I don't need them. After saying that, I turned to leave. I arrived at the points office. A moment later, the staff handed me a slip. It showed the total credits. A total of 580,000. I took the proof to the counter. When the staff saw the 580,000 credits, they were visibly shocked. Such a huge amount was rarely seen. After confirming it multiple times, they transferred the credits to my residence permit. After finishing, I walked toward my fortress RV. Oh, it's you. Big sister. We meet again. Big sister.